How's it going, everybody? I'm Kyle from Fantasy Forge Studios, and we are back with session 20.
I will help you bear this burden.
Thank you so much for the resub. I appreciate that. But we're back with session 21 of Eriador Adventures, our D&D campaign set in the world of Middle-earth, taking place between the years of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. We are joined by all of our players today. Don't let the overlay deceive you. Theodric is here. And so we are joined by everybody, and we're going to go ahead and one by one go through all of the players, starting with Valinith.
Hey everyone, my name is Dane, or Forge here at Fantasy Forge Studios. I play the character Valinith, son of Morbeth. He is a scholar, high elf from Rivendell, and he's pretty cool. He's got some healing he can do. He uses herbs. He uses his father's longbow that was used in the Battle of the Last Alliance, which is really cool. And yeah, I mean, I would say he's very jovial. He's definitely not a Lord of the Rings film elf that are like all brooding and sorrowful. He's definitely like a book version of a Tolkien elf where they're in good spirits for the most part. But he's cool. He's awesome. They're very jolly. Yeah, and definitely Valinith is jolly and pompous, I would say, is kind of the other adjective I would use to describe him. But yeah, he's nice. He's with his good buddies, Kyrian, Theodric, and Caliphyr, and he is excited to learn more about the Mada that happened in the library with the candlestick. So it'll be good.
I love it. Our next adventure is Kyrian.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cole, and I play Kyrian, son of Dorfin, also sometimes known as Gallant Shannon, son of Malant Ganon. If you know, you know.
I do know.
And yeah, I'm Kyrian is a Dunedain of the Rangers in the north of Numenorian descent. He has lots of awesome skills. He's a ranger, which means he's protects the free peoples of Eriador from orcs and other such things like wolves and whatnot. Yeah, he's kind of like a captain in that realm of things, and he is really good at navigating wilderness. Although we're about to leave my known lands, so I'll still be good, just not quite as good. And
You'll be sweet, just unknowing.
yeah, and then yeah, I sometimes attack with a sword and a dagger, sometimes with a bow and arrow. I'm pretty good at damaging peeps sometimes. That's what I do.
Awesome. And our next character is Theodric.
Hey everybody, I am here. I'm that tubby Australian. I play Theodric Grimborn. He is our... I can't remember if he's had a birthday or not. 18, I'm pretty sure he's 18. 18-year-old rider of Rohan. He is our slayer, which means he's kind of the frontline barbarian archetype. Taking a lot of damage, dishing out a decent amount of damage, but mostly just tanking. And yeah, he's here chilling in. I almost said I said the wrong place almost. Eriador. Yeah, we're in Eriador. Sorry, not.
Wilderland's pretty cool too, though.
Wilderland's cool too, but we're in Eriador now. And yeah, he's here chilling with Kyrian, Caliphyr, and Valinith, trying to solve a murder, and looking after a drunk 15-year-old that he accidentally encouraged to do stupid, embarrassing things.
Hey, you never know until you give him a shot, right? Who knows? Maybe there was some kind of hidden feelings or whatnot, but in the process, hearts are bound to be broken at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
But our next character, which is our DMPC, is Caliphyr. He is the captain of Dol Amroth, and he is a sailor and a warrior. And he has made his way up to Eriador with being marooned, him and his two surviving compatriots from the boat crash. He is currently on a mission to try to get both Arfanath, who is a diplomat from Dol Amroth, and Frothian, which is his armor bearer, back to basically the boats in Linden in order to get them back to Dol Amroth while he is chilling with the party to save the day. No, he's essentially, so he's a captain class, and so he is a that's like the D&D 5e equivalent of like a fighter, but he's like a defensive fighter, and so he's kind of like the mixture between like a paladin / fighter. He's got most of his skills are basically like party buffing skills. He's got some pretty good charisma and whatnot, but yeah, he is he's itching for a battle. I think everybody's itching for a battle, but we are currently on a mission from Rivendell, making our way literally across the entire expanse of Wilderland on the Greenway in order to get to Linden. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Kyle. I'm the Lore Master. Playing both with it against these players as they make their stamp on the world of Middle-earth. But they are currently on the road to the Greenway, and since the events of meeting individuals at Weathertop, they have been searching for a ranger, particularly one that goes by the name Terry Mack. And so following kind of this caravan and stopping by the Forsaken Inn, which is basically like the last refuge between like the Breeland and the rest of eastern Eriador, they discover that there has been a murder. Terry Mack was found in a well. His throat had been slit, and his skin was cold as ice. And he was apparently alive that previous day as he was snooping around and doing his thing. And so currently the company has caught back up with the caravan, the caravan with many members, some dwarves and some humans, that there's a murderer amongst them, potentially. And so they are doing what they can to be able to investigate perhaps any people that could be the murderer before reporting them to the Reeve of Bree upon the return to Bree and kind of resting a little bit there. But there are a number of suspects. What are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts thus far?
Oh man, it is definitely the lady. What's her name?
Is our prime
Everlast.
suspect.
Barrelast is the prime suspect.
However, what's his bucket? The guy in charge of the
Ador.
Caravan? Adoric?
Yeah, I think he's pretty sus because these dwarves have been slaves for him for far longer than they probably should have been.
Oh, Mirabar. That's who you're talking about. So
Yeah.
let me quickly. This is actually a really good place to kind of go over like all 9 characters that are in this caravan. There's a lot of them, and so obviously excluding present company, you have Adoric. So he is the guy who is leading the caravan. Essentially, his business is kind of pathfinding and leading the basically merchants from place to place safely. And so you have Adoric, who is kind of the guide for everybody, and then he has Owen, who is his assistant from Bree, who's a stable boy. Both of them are Breelanders. The next person, kind of the primary reason for this caravan, is a guy from Dorwinion. So from the far east, even past the reaches of Mirkwood, like way out east, it is a very wealthy merchant by the name of Mirabar, and he is traveling to Bree to sell his wares as well, particularly his goods from Dorwinion. And then there are Herlinen and Barrelast. So their relationship is a little bit interesting. Some people think that they're siblings. Some people just think they're traveling companions or business partners. But they are traveling merchants that sell medicine, and so they're medicine people. And that's all the humans. And then there are 4 dwarves in the caravan as well. There's a Vig, who's kind of the one who's in charge of everyone. And then his brother Vogar, which you guys found out last session, has some brain injuries. And so he's really unable to speak much. You learn that he has kind of like a rage that fills him as well. And so but he's pretty much mute and doesn't speak much. You also found out last session too that Vig and Vogar were actually thinking about joining Thorin's company at one point. And so there's that. And then there is Narvig and Narvi, who are both the sons of Vogar. So Narvi is the youngest, and definitely the least shy. As far as dwarves go, he doesn't really fit that typical impression of a dwarf. He's pretty social. He'll go and pretty much talk to anybody, and he's also definitely very young. And then Narvig is the one who was speaking previous session with, and he's kind of, he seems to be like the guy who's kind of like on the down low, the sneaky guy. Essentially, he's the sneaky guy. And so he's the one who was speaking to Kyrian last session and kind of let them in on the fact that, yeah, him and the dwarves are all indentured servants to Mirabar, as Mirabar essentially saved Vogar's life from basically the nearly fatal wound that he had, but it put them into a ton of debt. And so in order to make up for that debt, they're basically indentured servants as like caravan guards. Yes.
I have a question. I know it's pretty rare to have elven magic heal things, but is this brain damage something that like elven magic could heal at this point?
It would take a miracle. Basically, the medicine that they got were to help heal the wound and to make sure that he doesn't die. His current state that he's in, chances are it's a permanent life state that he's going to be in until he dies. And so
poor guy. I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the high fantasy of like D&D where it's like my magic can cure any wound, any ailment. No, this is the deed is.
Well, I know it's pretty rare too. Valnith has only been able to tap into it once in all however many sessions that we played. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Pretty
cool.
Intense.
Sounds good.
And so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit of a recap. They're currently in the process of kind of deducing who the potential suspects are of this murder. Yeah, last session, young boy got drunk. Owen, he confessed his love to Everlast, who got rejected and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, currently the party is sitting down, getting ready for bed, and kind of the reconvening about all the information that they have gathered as Kyrian has gone out and kind of did a little bit of sleuthing. He sat in and listened to the conversation between Everlast and Owen, and then Theodric was kind of watching the horses and livestock during this time, and additionally on top of that, him and Valinith were basically kind of trying to help Owen, but yeah, Kyrian has gathered a lot of information from his time here, at least for this first evening in camp, and probably in about a day-ish, like a day of full travel, you guys will probably be making your way towards Bree, and so you have a little bit of time to be able to continue to suss things out, whether you want to confront people or whatever the case. That's completely up to you. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the group. So it's around probably like 11 p.m. at night. It's definitely gotten later, as everybody has kind of gone off on their own and done their thing. The last thing that you did note were the dwarves were talking to themselves in Dwarvish. And both Mirabar and Adoric have been chatting on the far side of the fire, not quietly to themselves, seeming to enjoy themselves. But Narvig has actually, or Narvi, has given Herlinin a lot of alcohol. And so, in kind of a drunk stupor, Herlinin has fallen asleep, and Everlast has also gone to sleep after kind of like her embarrassing run through with Owen for the evening. And so cool. That is where we are. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you guys.
Quick question. So so Theodric and Valnith were in the process at the end of last session bringing Owen back. Mm-hmm. Is he asleep at this point? I'm assuming like we kind of gotten him ready and put him to bed.
He had passed out, remember? So he is being carried over the shoulder of Theodric. And so you guys bring him back. I'm assuming put him down to where somewhere nice and comfortable with his bedroll, close to the fire, assumingly.
Yeah. Valinith turns to Theodric and says, "Ah, young love. Not that I've ever experienced it, however. I have heard many a story and read many a story, and it seems like this is one of those stories, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess part of young love is heartbreak as well. It's a learning experience, I suppose.
It is. It is. I will say though that takes some guts. I don't know if any normal man would have done that, let alone a teenage boy. That seems, he'll get over it, and this is a good learning experience, as you said. But whoa, wow, I didn't realize he had that much guts in him.
I mean, yeah, it took a lot of convincing for him to do it. Hopefully, he'll be a bit more confident after this.
I agree. I agree. And I guess they'll start putting him to bed in the bedroll as they're discussing this.
As you do so,
Where is
Caliphere stands up and he comes over to the two of you and he says, I've been doing what I can to be able to take care of the animals. I can go ahead and take first watch, at least watching the animals, if that's all the same to you. I think Owen, that was his job that he was supposed to do, so I'll make sure to keep a lookout. You get yourself some food. I've already eaten. I'll take Frothian with me, and we'll go watch the animals.
Oh, well, thank you, Caliph, yeah.
Did you learn any good information while you were sit here chatting?
And so he essentially, during his time without all of this going on, he's tried to kind of keep his ears open, sussing out conversations that are happening, particularly with Adoric and Mirabar. So I'm going to actually go ahead and make a roll for him, a investigation check. He got a 2.
Nice.
The conversation that they've been having, it doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary. Most of the conversation they've had, at least between the two of those individuals, were pretty much business. And so, essentially, Adoric has been telling him various places where he can set up his stall, set up shop while he is in Bree, kind of giving him the lowdown. Apparently, this is the first time that Mirabar's really spent any long periods of time in Bree. He's sold his wares there before, but he usually leaves that to somebody else. So this is really like his first time about exploring Eriador, and that's one thing that actually he did find out. I guess even with that too, is he, like Mirabar from Dorwinion, loves the environments of Bree. He thinks it's far more beautiful than his land of Dorwinion, he, like, the danger of just kind of the wildness, like, excites him. And so that's another thing that came out of that as well.
Cool. Awesome. Well, seems like he's a man of class. I agree. Eriador is quite nice. What do you think of Eriador, Theodric? You've been here for a good amount of time now.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's nice. I just, yeah, a lot of hills. A lot of mountains. I'm a little sick of mountains at this point.
Well, Rohan has a lot of hills too, I hear. I haven't actually been myself, or at least not spent any significant time down there.
I mean,
how's it compared to your home?
It's primarily plains land, but it does have some hills, I suppose.
Nice. I'd like to see your homeland one day. Hopefully we make it out alive.
I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't.
I agree. I think we work well together. Huzzah to that. And Valinith looks to see if he can see Kyrian anywhere, because he hasn't seen Kyrian. It's as if he is a dark space. Empty.
It's true.
A void.
Empty in the void.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Hey.
Cannot see you,
Okay.
though.
Hey.
Yeah, I had to
screen
reset because my camera stopped, and then I think when I reloaded, it didn't reload for you guys or something. I don't know.
That's okay. I can throw up your picture. We can hear you, but
Cool.
I'll throw up
Okay, great. In that case, I'll just go dark and save energy. I don't know. Yeah, everyone's dark today. Sorry, guys. It's the dark days. Yeah, I will come forth from the wood and greet my party. Hello.
Oh, Kyrian. Wow, you sneak quite good. I didn't see you coming.
Yes, I can disappear if I like.
It's pretty good. Did you learn any useful information? Caliph learned about all kinds of wonderful things, including about selling goods in Bree and how the rolling hills of Eriador are wonderful. Did you learn anything useful like that?
Yes, much, but we should not talk out in the open like this. Are we out in the open? I don't know.
Kind of. So basically, the general setup is there are like stones on the far western side of where you are set up, and that's kind of like the area where both Herlinen and Barrelas are sleeping. There's a great fire in the middle, and remember, there's marshland to the north. The road is a little ways to the south from where you are. And then the horses and everything are off to the east of where you are. And that's currently where Caliph and Frothian are at the moment.
Nice. Great. Yes, we should talk more in private. I have much to relay information-wise to you all.
Okay, well, Owen doesn't look like he's going anywhere, so I guess we could find somewhere quiet to have a chat.
Delightful. I assume we go find somewhere like that.
Yeah.
And
So
then
you have a couple of things. So I'll give you. So there are two people that are up right now, as I had mentioned, which are Mirabar and Adoric. The dwarves are there as well. They're kind of off, like having their own conversation, like a little ways, kind of like north from the camp location. But I'm gonna have Kyrian. I'm gonna have you make an insight check for me.
Okay. What do I see with my inner eye? So much. Nat 20 for 23.
Adoric is looking at you suspiciously. For some reason or another, he seems to be on high alert and high guard about everything that's going on. You're unsure whether it's the conversation that you had, but clearly, like right now, he's not trusting of anybody.
Even Valnith, who made such a good repertoire with him?
Adoric, sorry, there's so many names.
Yeah,
He's the guide. He's the guide.
Okay. The guide. Is he like where is he in relation to us? Sorry.
So you guys are on the southern end of the fire, closest probably to the road where you all have been seated. They are on the far side of the fire. He is speaking with Mirabar on the far side, but he seems to kind of be eyeing you. Also, you see him turning and eyeing the dwarves too behind, almost as if he's trying to like suss or like not necessarily eavesdrop, but he looks a little bit wary.
Interesting. Interesting.
Is Kyrian the only one who notices this?
Yeah, Kyrian's the only one who notices it.
All right.
Adoric, I believe we are going to turn in for the night. Do we have enough guards and everyone to keep watch?
He looks up as surprised almost that you had called over to him, and he says, well, it looks like the majority of everybody is asleep for the evening. Our guard, and he gestures back to the dwarves, they usually set up a four-person watch. If you want to keep watch, feel free, but we do have some lookouts to be able to make sure that nothing surprises us in the night. And he said, stay close to the fire, though. And he kind of looks a little bit warily around again, and he squints kind of into the darkness. He says, the Downs are a dangerous place at night. Stay close to the light.
Are we actually in the Downs? Like, in the Downs?
So basically, the expanse of land that goes between Weathertop and Bree, it's like Downs region. So the South Downs is like way to the south, and that's where kind of the really sketchy stuff happens, is in the South Downs, kind of Barrow Downs area. But between the Midgewater marshes and these downs, there's a lot of people that go missing, let's just say, between the stretch between Bree and Weathertop.
Gotcha. Valnus says, Will Calafir is also taking watching the animals. I'm sure we will also take our bouts watching. I don't need much sleep being an elf myself, so I will keep my eyes and ears open.
He nods and he says, I appreciate it, Valineth. Well, you might as well enjoy yourself. It's going to be a long day of walking tomorrow.
Yes, it will be, but for the time being, I think we should, as we said, tuck in if we can.
And so with that, where do you guys want to set up kind of your camp as far as hanging out here?
Maybe closer to Barrelass and what's his bucket, just because they're drunk and asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we set up closer to them, the likelihood of them hearing us is pretty small, but it also seems like we're still being part of the party.
Well,
I feel like it'd
Barrelass
be
is not drunk, remember. Only Herlinen is. And so Barrelass, she just went off to sleep just because of the awkwardness. So
never mind. Then maybe you'll go by Owen, because, you know, Owen is chilling and drunk and asleep.
Yeah, so. Owen's kind of on the southern end of the fire, across the way a little bit, so like southeastern end of the fire, across the way from like Barrelass and Herlinen.
Cool. How does that sound? Do we set up camp around the young chap?
Sure. Why not?
Perfect. Well, we'll do it. I guess Valineth, he's gonna do his best, as if it's natural, like this is something he normally does, to set up a kind of pseudo secondary camp that can leave a little bit of padding between prying eyes, potentially with from sticks and fronds and things of such nature.
I'm kind of confused. Like
basically
fence? Like a wall.
Well, so like, you know, like when you go camping, especially in the wilderness, you can use like the wilderness around you to make sort of like a mini shelter of sorts, like a shelter in a way that kind of like, not a full-blown log cabin or anything, but something that just kind of like keeps us out of the elements, but keeps us closer to the fire so they're not suspicious of us, but keeps us away from like prying ears.
Make a survival check for me.
All right. Survival. Oh, Val is kind of good at survival. Hopefully. 9.
You're able to kind of put some kind of thing together, especially if there is the potential for rain. You create kind of almost like this like stick and twig canopy that covers part of about half of your camp, kind of with a little bit of an overhanging. As far as whether or not it's going to be soundproof, probably not that well, but it definitely keeps prying eyes off of you, that's for sure.
That's more than anything. We could talk quietly, right?
Yeah.
So as we're settling in, Valinus says, okay, well, it seems like we're slightly more protected from prying eyes. If we talk in a hushed voice, maybe we can discuss what you had heard.
Well, for one thing, Eadoric? Eadoric seems suspicious of us. I don't know what to make of that yet. But something good for us all to know. I think, other than that, I have learned much information. As it seems that you, at least, Calafir, have as well. But what I have learned thus far is that the dwarves seem to be in an indentured servitude toward that merchant, what was it? Mirabar.
Mirabar.
That's right. And I did promise them that I would do my best to help them move on from this servitude, and I don't know if that is paying out the rest of their debt. Seems that they Mirabar is it Mirabar? Mirabar.
Mirabar, yeah.
Wow, sorry, the names are just not sticking in my brain. Mirabar seems to have saved their lives to some degree, and so they have some sort of life debt to him. But it seems to me that maybe they have been serving him long enough. So, that is one item of business, and any ideas or thoughts on that matter of how we might go about that would be great. And then,
Well, did you ask how much was left on their debt?
no, I did not.
All right. Maybe that's something we can find out.
Yes.
I don't know if they would necessarily trust the rest of us. I can't speak for Caliphyr or Theodric. However, when I tried to interact with them at the Forsaken Inn, they didn't seem to want anything to do with me, an elf. Sad days.
Yes. Yeah, so perhaps I can try to find that information out. Now, here's the interesting thing. I have learned much more information. Thank you for getting Everlast. Thank you for getting her alone so that I could spy on them. I don't believe, as far as I could tell, that I was spotted at all, as I can be quite stealthy, especially at night. But other than seeming that she is not interested in our friend Owen, they brought up the brooch. Apparently she was wearing one, and we have a very similar brooch to what they had talked about, found at the scene of the crime. There's something that is off about that Everlast, and I believe that she is our prime suspect at this moment for the murder of my colleague Terry Malor, as it were. And I don't know if we merely confront her or try to sleuth around a bit more and get some more solid details. I think at some point we will have to confront whoever we suspect the most, and we're just going to have to come to terms with the fact that we're not going to be everybody's friend here. But I believe she is our prime suspect at this time, whether it's of her own volition or some spirit plagues her that throws her into doing these horrible things. I know not, but...
Quick question, just overall. Have we asked anyone why they're part of this caravan? Like, why are they here? Like, they seem so out of place here in this caravan compared to, like, the dwarves make sense now. Obviously, the others, like, they're helping lead to Bree, but then there's just these two random people.
Are they
who
not
joining
merchants trying to sell their wares as well?
Are they? I don't think they are.
They are. They mentioned that they're herbalists, like herbalist merchants. So they have actually a cart that they pull to that has like herbalist stuff.
Valnith thinks to himself and he says, well, it seems that, as you had mentioned, that Adoric is quite suspicious of everyone and everything. Maybe we could get into his good graces and maybe discuss this. He seems to be the head of all of this. If we bring the concerns to him, perchance we're able to glean more information about it. Because what we have gleaned isn't without cause. It seems that we're not making any accusations without having the proof in the pudding. Maybe if we reveal the brooch, perchance, maybe we can, like, at camp, saying that we found this on the body of Terry Mack. Maybe we can glean reactions based off of that. See if there is any more suspicion.
Yes, that could be a way of going about it. Absolutely.
What do
I
you
think also we
Deidre?
need to be suspicious of Adoric. Is that his name? Adoric.
Yeah, Dora.
Yes. And our merchant friend. These names are
Everlast.
killing me. Not Barrelas.
Herlinin.
Merlinin.
Herlinin.
No. The
He's talking about
dwarf.
the leader of the caravan.
Oh,
Adoric,
Mirabar.
Mirabar.
Is Mirabar? Wait, is Mirabar the
Mirabar's the guy
leader?
from Dorwinian. He's the merchant. Adoric
Correct,
is the
who
guy who
owns
is the guide.
dwarves or whatever. Okay.
Who's
That's what I
Tywick
thought.
Greenleaf?
He's
He
the
happened to
mayor
be-
of
Yeah, the mayor of
Breeland.
Bree.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have him in my notes.
Yes,
Okay,
same.
cool.
So
Okay.
I am also wary of Adoric and something. Merman.
Mirabar.
Mirabar,
Mirabar.
thank you. Insofar as I think Mirabar has potentially some shady dealings insofar as he keeps indentured servants potentially longer than they ought to be. Also, we have to think about motive. Who would have had the motive to kill our friend, or my colleague, rather, who had the most to gain from his death? Was he investigating something? Was he on to a conspiracy of sorts that someone didn't want found out? These are the things we must think about. I think Mirabar. I think perchance he is some secrets that he doesn't want uncovered. I think Adoric, being the leader of this caravan, potentially has a hand in many things and perchance knows the secrets of all of these folks as well. So he could be wrapped up and involved with whoever is guilty. And yes, there is definitely something in our prime suspect, Barrelas, who there's something not right about her. I know that this brooch belongs to her, and I know that it was found at the scene of the crime. So she's either being set up by someone else, or she had something to do with it. And there's just something off about her. When I saw her that one night as she entered back in, there was a great cold that followed after her. There was great cold in the wound that killed my friend. I think these are not a coincidence in the correlation between the two.
She has also been acting quite strange since we announced that. What was it? Tom? Was it Tom something?
Terry Mack.
Terry Mack. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, she has been acting strange since we announced Terry Mack had been killed.
Quite.
And it seems to be far more than just worry about her own life.
Well
There's
said.
a paranoia and a fear about her that's just something about it just seems way too personal.
I agree. So how, this now is my question moving forward, how, my friends, shall we proceed? Valinith, you mentioned bringing the brooch up to light in front of the whole company. I think there could be some merit to that plan and seeing how all react to it. But
It
I don't
feels a
know. I
little
think maybe some
heavy-handed.
discretion may be
Yeah.
needed.
Yes, I'm just trying to think. When I was talking to Herlinin earlier in the day, again trying to pick his brain. First and foremost, I was trying to make a space for Kyrian to glean some information. However, unless Herlinin is some sort of straight-faced genius of some sorts, he seems to have no idea about how this death could have come across. Is
DM,
it psychopathic tendencies? I do not know.
DM above game.
Mhm.
Do we know that Valinith has the ability to sense shadow, or is that just kind of like a intuition he has?
Yeah, so it's kind of like an intuition that he has. And so as far as mechanically speaking how that works is it's behind checks. And so like he doesn't innately have the ability to like sense shadow. He would actively have to be like trying to suss it out, if that makes sense. And so if he's suspicious, you can make a check based off of that. And then the result tells you whether or not there is or not, if there is any at all or if there is.
Ian Valineth has made a few checks at this point as far as the shadow goes for multiple people, but he's rolled very poorly on all of those. So there could still be shadow involved, but he just can't sense it right now.
Theodric says, "Could we maybe have a look at this this brooch? Maybe there's something we missed on it.
I will bring forth the brooch.
So
Bring
as
forth
you
the brooch, Frodo."
as you place the brooch still wrapped in the cloth down in front of you, you see that it's kind of almost like a shield crest like shaped, and then on it has a large G in kind of a fancy silver like filigree. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to it. This does seem to be made out of pure silver, so whatever it is definitely more valuable than perhaps just like any old random brooch. You had also found out earlier, too, that Jack from the Forsaken Inn, he had mentioned that this is probably belongs to somebody with wealth. Obviously, I mean, it looks kind of like that with it being the case, but the vast majority of people, whether they're in service of someone or like if they're like have some kind of name for their family, people in Bree usually carry these with them, meaning that these are kind of like identifiers of like who they are. But in this case, it's just a G, and you haven't been able to figure much out past that. You turn it over and you see that there is a pin, a quite sturdy pin on the back. And it looks to be, it's still closed, meaning, I'm going to actually have the group of you make an investigation check for me.
Oh, yeah.
If it was yanked.
Oh,
If
it was.
broken.
Her dress was torn, or her blouse was torn.
I mean, I don't know if it'd necessarily be broken, but like at very least tear, because it's a sturdy pin, right?
Yeah.
24 for Valineth, by the way.
Yeah,
I got a 10.
Yeah, these assumptions are absolutely brought to light. Something that you guys were able to notice right away is you guys haven't done much or touched the pin all that much, but it is still closed, meaning it either wasn't on somebody or it was ripped off of somebody.
Can you do a shadow check on the brooch, Valineth?
I could definitely try.
Make a
That's
shadow
something
word
I
check
could
on
do.
it.
All right. Let's see. Let's roll good. Sorry, guys. It's just a 6.
Nothing about this seems to elude any bit of shadow. I mean, I know you have been wary about it since the beginning, but nothing, even carrying it with you up until this point, nothing has shown you that like there's anything shadow related in relation to this brooch. It just seems like a brooch.
Okay.
And I will say, when you distracted her linen, I did see Everlast clutching at her torn blouse. About where you would be wearing a brooch. I do think she is our prime suspect at this point.
How do we go about sussing that out, I wonder?
I think we have the evidence. I think it's a matter of getting a confession.
Psst. Psst. You hear somebody from behind your structure whispering to you. Psst. Hey,
Said Owen.
are you there? No, it is actually Frothian.
Oh.
Oh, Frothian, yes. What could it be, my lad?
He peers around the corner of the structure and he says, one of the ponies is missing. Theodric, do you know anything about this? He looks at you concerned, and he says, Caliphere's out searching the area. We picked up some tracks, but they seem to go cold after a little bit. I wasn't sure if one of the ponies wandered away or anything like that, but... And he kind of looks just like straight with concern at each of your faces and says, what should we do? I know that they belong to Mirabar. Should we tell him?
Thank you for letting us know, Frothian. We will...
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Can I do a perception check to see who's still sitting around the camp?
Yeah.
Like, is there anyone missing?
So... Initially looking, I wouldn't say you would need a perception check for that. I would say in order to see kind of further past the inner circle, you would. But from just based off of what you can see the 3 individuals that are sleeping, Herlin and Baralas and Owen. And then you see Mirabar and Adoric. They seem to still be talking quietly. As far as the dwarves go, I'm going to have you make a perception check for me.
Yep, that is a 13.
13, you see all 4 of them. They are chatting together. They have started kind of like, not really like their own fire, but they have put like their lantern on like as bright as it can be, and it's in the middle of them. You can see that they have kind of some logs and rocks that they have pulled up, and they seem to just be chatting with each other. Far enough away where you actually can't hear them at all talking, but you can still kind of make out 4 dwarves there.
Okay, so that's everyone of the caravan, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's everyone. No one's missing.
Nobody's missing.
Okay. Yeah, Theodric's going to start heading off towards where all the animals are being kept.
Okay. Kyrian and Valinith, what are your guys' plans? Are you staying put, or
I will come with, as I am very good at tracking.
Okay.
I will tell Caliphere to... Caliphere, you have your horn on you, yes?
Caliphere is currently investigating off to the east the animals. So him and Frothian were watching over the animals until they noticed that one of them were missing.
Okay then. So are just the 3 of us the only ones back here?
So basically, Arfanath, who is the Gondorian guy, he's just kind of like in the back doing his thing. But yeah, the 3 of you are the ones who are having this conversation.
Frothian, stay here. Can you do a bird call or some sort of signal that we can hear you?
And he pulls out a whistle. It actually has the shape of a boat on it, and like kind of like waves. It's pretty fancy. It's made out of bone. And he says, "I have this. I was always told by Caliphere to keep this close."
Wonderful. If something goes wrong and this is a trap to lead us away from our camp, please, without hesitation, blow that whistle, and we will be back as fast as we can. If we are not back within an hour or so, then what should you do then? I don't know. We should be back in about an hour or so.
Should I tell Adoric and Mirabar that what we're doing, we're off to go look for a missing pony? Should they know about this?
I won't say yet, because it could be a trap. I do not trust our caravan companions at this time. So, watch our stuff. If you start to get attacked or whatnot,
what
blow the
about
whistle.
you, Valinith? Are you going to stay put, or are you going with them? Can't hear you.
You're muted.
Sorry. I will turn to the group and say, do you need my assistance, or do you think it'd be better just in case something happens if I stay? What do you think?
I think perhaps somebody should stay at camp. If nothing else, just to keep an eye on, you-know-who.
Correct.
I could stay, definitely. It doesn't seem like a dork. I feel like I have a good repertoire with him, so
Wonderful.
if he
And
at the
keep an
very
eye
least
on
sees me.
Berlas while we're gone.
Of course. Of course. I will. Two elf
shall-
eyes will,
we shall
will
be back
remain on her.
soon.
Okay. Be safe. If you need me, yell, Valinith, I need you! And then I'll be right there.
How about an owl call?
Ah, yes. That's a little more sneaky, I should say. Let's go with that.
Indeed. And this part of the woods does not have owls, so it should be out of place enough that if you hear it, you'll know it's me.
Aw,
That's actually probably
Sounds
pretty
good.
true.
sounds good. If
You
there
know,
are
I just
any
made it up.
If
so.
there are any sneaks about, how should I contact you? Should I say, Kyrian, Theodric, we
No.
need your help?
Frothian has a whistle. He'll blow that.
Correct.
Oh, sorry, I was out of it for a hot second there. Okay.
That's okay.
He's gonna-
He has a whistle, and if that doesn't work, then use your elk call.
Ah, yes, my famed elk call. I will do so, just that.
Wonderful. We
Practice
go to
makes your
try to
voice crack.
track down this beast.
Yeah, you wander over, and it's not that far. You can see like that there is definitely like a lantern that is over there, and then you can actually see Carolafir like off in the distance, like wandering around the site. It looks like he's counting the animals as both Theodric and Kyrian approach. Carolafir, he has his hand on his sword, and he says, "I made sure to recount, but there is only one pony missing. There should be 11 of them, but I only count 10. All of the horses are in check, and it doesn't seem that anybody has climbed in or disturbed any of the goods from the caravans. This is quite concerning, though. Perhaps this happened while nobody here was here watching.
It's possible.
I'm not much of a tracker. What do you make of these?" And he goes and he points out the pony tracks that do seem to wander a little bit away before vanishing, probably after about 15 feet.
Is it that they just straight vanish, or that they're...
They become,
Out of
not
it.
necessarily vanish, but they become pretty indiscreet from this area. So do remember that this is also the midwater marshes, so it's a little bit marshy here too. And so kind of like the high like water levels and just like everything is like soaked here. And so it's a little bit difficult. You could potentially find some tracks, but it seems like just the kind of the terrain changed is what it looked like.
Okay, Theodric knows horses and ponies, and he is pretty good at survival. Can he do a survival check to see if he can keep following them?
Can I
Absolutely, and you
assist?
can have it at advantage with the assistance. Yes.
Thank you. That is a 22.
Oh yeah. You are able to actually pick up on these tracks quite easily. It looked as if the pony did indeed wander off. As you continue to walk for about probably another 20, 30 more feet, the tracks themselves stop almost as if the pony was standing in one place. And then you actually begin to see dragging marks at some point. Whatever happened to this pony was being dragged away.
Okay,
I think this might be a troll, or a bear, or something.
I'm gonna have the two of you make
Large.
perception checks for me.
okie dokie. I don't think it's a bear. If it was a bear, we would have heard the horses and the ponies whinnying when it first arrived.
Nothing gets by me.
Yeah, I got a 20, and Kieran got a 29
Yeah.
on those perception checks.
On that.
We are
one.
locked in.
You are so locked in. As you kind of look into the darkness, you get the idea to dim your lanterns, and so you do. You're able to kind of adjust your eyes as you look into the distance, and you see what look to be 3 sets of pale reflections looking at you. And you hear a low...
Yes. Do I know what this is?
These look to be wolves.
Yes. Ah, 'tis but wolves. can I determine which one the pack leader is with my extrasensory abilities?
You look to see that there are basically 3 sets of eyes, and from what you know about this region is if there's 3, there's probably more. It's difficult to tell which one's pack leader, but it looks as if they are either a remaining part of a small pack or a small part of a larger pack. But they seem to be looking at you. They seem to be growling. They haven't got any closer, but you can tell that they are watching you. Very evidently watching you.
Is there any blood from the pony, or...
You look to the ground and you see absolutely that there is blood, and it has been drawn in the direction of where the eyes are.
All right, Theodric. With no sudden movements, let us slowly walk back to camp, covering our tracks as best as we can. I don't think there's any need for us 2 on 3 to try to take these beasts down, and they should be satisfied considering they have their feast.
Make a stealth check for me, the 2 of you.
Good luck. Believe in you guys.
18.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Kyrian.
It's okay.
I'm not good at stealth. I have permanent disadvantage. Oh, hang on. That's oh, wait, I didn't roll a disadvantage. My bad. I was going to say that's not bad, but I forgot. Okay, I got a 7.
Okay. You wander backwards slowly, and every now and then, well, not every now and then, at one point, Theodric's foot drops heavily into the water where both of you stop. You see that the eyes are still there, but there's only 2 sets now.
That's probably concerning, right?
Yes. But let us stay on track and keep your minds about you. I would draw a weapon to defend yourself. And I will draw my sword and my dagger.
As you draw both of these weapons, you look down to your dagger, Kyrian, and you do not see that it is glowing, meaning that there are no orcs or goblins or anything, trolls like that about.
That is good, that is good.
Valinith, let's go ahead and jump back to you. As
Yes.
you are here at camp with Frothian, he says to you, and he says, Master Valinith, have you done much traveling here in this region?
Oh, in my time, I have made my way to and fro, but not like Kyrian, I should say. I know the Greenway, but that's about it in my time.
I am curious, do elves travel by horseback?
Do they travel by horseback? I don't know. Rare, right? It's more war horses,
Yeah.
right?
So horses are basically used for battle. In fact, elves actually probably move quicker, generally speaking, by foot. Yes.
The thing is, I am light on my feet. I need no horse. Those are more valuable on the battlefield. So it is with companions that I have traveled, but I have never traveled alone on these roads. And that was a while ago as well.
Back in Dol Amroth, we traveled primarily by ship, and he kind of looks over at like the people that are around here, and he says, "Actually, I did have a question. Maybe your thoughts. I know you've had lots of conversations, but the medicine guy, the one over there, he, in my opinion, he looks like he's from Gondor, actually."
Oh, Herlinen. Did I get that information or where he's from? We got it. He's from. I thought we got it. He was from.
Well, he came from Tharbad, so they joined the company
Tharbad.
going from Tharbad, but you never actually found out like where he is from.
Oh, yes. Can I make an insight check about potential knowings
Make
based
a
off of what I
traditions check
know?
for me.
Traditions check.
Sorry, really quick. We are still in my known lands, right? Until after
Yes.
Bree.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So that should have been at advantage. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I got a 22 with advantage.
Okay, good to know. Instead of 18.
Well,
Correct.
I wish I could have that because I got 8 on my traditions.
The closer you look at the sleeping face of Herlinen, you actually notice that there definitely are some pretty distinct differences between Herlinen and Everlast. They don't look really related at all outside of their clothing. Their clothing looks pretty similar, but from what you can tell, he could be a man from Gondor. He's actually quite tall in stature and quite broad, similar to Caliphyr. His hair's not quite as well kept, and he tends to. He doesn't. He's like very clean shaven, but you can tell like it's kind of starting to grow. It's not like very well kept like Caliphyr keeps his. But you also look to see Everlast, and you see that she kind of has a more dusky appearance, almost kind of similar to that of.
Well, she's a woodman, right?
Yeah,
we
she's
knew
woodman.
she was a
So
woodman.
like from like the people that you would see in Wilderland, very similar to that. She's kind of got like this like stark, like deep brown hair that is pretty reminiscent of the people from the woodman realm, which does bring to question like why two individuals that are so far distant places, why they are together. But as you look, I'm gonna have you make a perception check for me.
Perception. Again, theoretically, I'm pretty good at this. Okay, that's not bad. That's a 19.
That's better than not bad. As you look around and you note the differences of these, the hairs on the back of your neck begin to stand. And
They're prickled.
as you take a quick look to your left, down to the south of your current encampment, you see something moving off in the distance. It looks like
I squint at it.
multiple things moving. And you see a brief reflection of a set of eyes looking at you from the distance.
Can I tell what kind of eyes based off of the eyes? Are they slit eyes? Are they fiendish eyes? Are they
They look like animal
human
eyes.
Okay.
I don't think human eyes
Valinor,
have that reflective property. I think there's like
they don't.
animals
They
have
don't,
like that
yeah.
reflective. So it's definitely animal eyes.
Valnith turns to the lad and says, actually, I don't think we're alone. It seems that we may have some trouble afoot. Arm yourself, boy. And Valinith will make a real nice elk noise, if he can. Yeah, that's what he'll do.
Before this happens, we jump back to Theodoric and Kyrian, and you can see as you slowly make your way backwards that Caliphyr has his shield drawn now too, as he seems to be seeing something off in the distance to the north of your current
Wait, have the
location.
wolves made it to the full camp?
I guess so. There are moving
Gosh.
animals in the camp distance.
Oh no.
And
That's why Valinith made a sweet elk noise.
Caliphyr has pulled out his shield along with his sword as well, and he says, I believe there's wolves. I've seen some movement off in the distance, as he kind of like tries to be quiet but loud enough for you as you slowly back away from the set of eyes off in the distance. But he
Valinith,
as he looks
Valinith.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
As
I was just saying, Valinith tells Ferothian. I'm so sorry. Valinith tells Ferothian, if they are what I think they are wolves. And if I know one thing about wolves, they hate fire. Just prepare. That's what.
But Caliphyr, he turns to the two of you, and he says, did you find tracks? Did you find the pony? And he turns his head to look at you slightly, kind of keeping one eye on the south and one eye to the north and one eye to you.
Well, we found enough blood that we can guess what happened to the pony, and I think it's sad to say that that pony's gone, and we probably have a fight on our hands.
And as that happens, you hear kind of a low growl. It's interesting because the growl seems like a wolf. It seems wild, but it's almost as if there are some words parsed in there too.
Okay, can I roll a check? Theodoric has fought enough wargs that he would recognize a warg. Can I roll something for that? Would that be
Yeah, make a
perception
shadow lore
or
check for me.
Shadow lore. That's a 4.
Nice.
It's difficult to tell, but the chances of there being wargs outside of Rohan, you're unsure. In Rohan, basically, like, wargs are like essentially pack leaders of wolves. You're unsure if that is the case up here, but this does seem kind of symptomatic, kind of like the general guttural sounds that potentially there could be a warg amongst them.
Theodric, while unsheathing his sword and shield, is going to just kind of in an aside say, "Hey, Syrian, I'm not used to these lands, but do you get wargs this far east or west? Sorry."
You do.
We do. And
Okay,
can I
that seems to be a
recognize
warg.
if it's a warg or not? Because are they of the shadow, or are they just
are.
trained by?
Yeah, they are of the
Okay.
shadow. Like, more so than definitely just wolves, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, make a shadow lore check for me.
Shadow
you.
lore. 15.
15. I'm going to have you make a riddle check for me with advantage.
Oh. Checks on checks.
Riddles in the dark.
Oof. 10.
10. There is definitely words in this growl. As you try to parse out what it says, basically you can't tell exactly what it is trying to say, but it almost looks as it or sounds as if it is a list of commands.
Oh, great.
Is this just the one wolf that's doing it?
You hear one of the growls is doing this.
Can I
Is this
see it
from-
yet, or no?
Basically, the ones that you've seen are the two. I guess there were technically 3 sets of eyes.
3.
And you're backing up, I'm assuming. So like as you've been doing that, you're looking, and the 2 eyes in the distance haven't moved. Caliphyr did mention that there was a movement of something off to the north, but nothing has really come close enough for you to be able to get like really good looks at them.
Sure, but the growl, did it come from the direction of the 2 eyes that I can hear words in?
Generally, yes.
Okay. Are we back at camp at this point?
No, so you're by the animals. So basically the 3 of you are by the animals, which is probably about 50 yards away from the camp. So you're not too far away from the camp. But
Okay. I will say.
And at this point, you
Caliphyr,
hear the call
be
of
my
an elk.
shield. Okay. I'll say, Caliphyr, be my shield, and I will put my sword away and my dagger away. I will draw my bow, and I will take a shot at where I can best guess the wargish commands were coming from.
So you begin to point your bow kind of in northeastern of this location. Off in the dark, you don't see any movement, but you just have an intuition that there is something moving in that general direction. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Nice. Attack roll. Hold on. My brain is computing. Do I get a plus anything because of my... Hold on.
Shadow?
It's been a minute. Is it a creature of shadow?
Yes.
Okay.
Wargs.
Yeah, on their stat block, it says...
Melee combat. Sorry, it's just melee.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So never mind. Okay, so that will be a 22 to hit.
22 hits. As your arrow looses in the dark, you hear it land its mark and you hear a yelp. And you begin to, instead of just a low growl after this yelp, you hear, "Go in pairs!" As we're going to go ahead and begin combat.
Sweet.
Nice.
That was 10 damage, by the way.
Yes. Cool.
I don't have to. No, it doesn't take any turn to talk or to call stuff.
No,
right?
not at all. You can have as much conversation as you
Okay,
possibly want.
Theodric's going to, as he hears that, turn to Caliphyr and just be like, Your horn. It might be a good idea to alert everyone.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And
Forgot he had the horn.
with that, Caliphyr, he sheaths his shield, and he pulls out his horn. You hear as this booming horn echoes throughout the area, and you begin to hear cries of wolves off in the distance. There aren't just 3 or 4 of them. There look to be an entire pack that has come and surrounded. You look back, Valinith, and you see that the dwarves, completely taken off by this, they look around, and you see them begin to just book it back to camp. They don't seem to have any weapons or anything on them at the moment. They are just booking it as fast as they can back to camp.
At this point, Valinith calls out to them. There seems to be danger. Arm yourselves. And Valinith takes a shot towards. He's got night vision. I don't know if that helps at all, but he takes a shot towards the glowing eyes.
I'll let you get one preemptive shot off. I would say. So go ahead and make an attack.
Question. I know that we're not really in combat yet, so if the answer is no, that's fine. But I do have 2 attacks now per turn. And,
I would say you could probably get a second shot off. I would say you got a surprise round. So if you wanted to get a second shot off, you absolutely can.
That was a 16 to hit.
16 will hit.
9 to hit.
That 9 does not hit.
7 piercing damage.
And you also hear a yelp off in the distance. I'm going to go ahead. We are going to take a very quick break as I set up this map. We'll be back. Indeed.
Cool. Fire. We need to get fire. Go frickin' Strider on these wards.
They're far away. I didn't realize how far the animals were. Got a 3-pronged attack going. Sounds good.
Okay.
How many feet of light does that campfire put out? About 10 feet? Okay. Oh man, if only he was here with us. Yes, the good boy.
And we are back. And in the throes of battle. I'm going to have everybody roll for initiative.
been so long.
Yeah, it's been a hot sec.
Woo. Nice. Valnith got an 18.
I'm back.
Roll for initiative, Fabric.
Okie
So you said Valnith got an
Ooh.
18.
18, yeah.
Okay. Kyrian.
I might actually.
Oof. Caleb, you got a 4.
Yeah, I only got a 6. So I have my elf friend ability,
You do.
which means once per adventure I can critically succeed on a roll.
Yes.
Can that be used on the roll for initiative, or is
Yeah,
it
it can.
just for skill checks?
Yeah,
and-
D20 rules. Any D20 roll.
Nice.
If I use it here, I would get a 21 in the initiative.
If you want to, man, that's
It's once per
Tag
adventure,
first.
and we haven't had that much combat lately.
yeah. How long would this adventure go? I guess that's like looking forward. Would it be after all of this, like go into the Grey Havens and then grow into
Yeah, the
everything?
Grey Havens is the technically end destination of your adventure.
It's a good question. I mean, it's fine. I think if you go a little bit later, it's not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Unless
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to burn it just yet.
So that is what?
A 6. Sorry.
6. And I'm gonna have you roll initiative for Baradrock as well.
He has a 16.
16.
That's my horse.
That's your horse.
And
Speed.
also, I am going to give a inspiration to. Does Valenith have inspiration?
I do not have an inspiration.
No, he does.
Coming in clutch with them
Kyrian, what is your
25,000. Nice, thank you.
Is he still here? Because he's not on my Vorpal board.
yeah, he hasn't been on my Vorpal board all session, so I'm not sure if Phil's here.
Either way.
I
Oh.
don't hear him.
Yeah, I don't hear.
I'm here. I'm back.
Roll for
Okay.
initiative for me.
Okay.
Nice.
6. Not great.
It's okay.
That's with a +3.
Oof.
Ooh.
I know.
I'm sorry,
Guys.
Valenith, yours was a what? An 18?
An 18, yeah.
My federal tax return was accepted.
Nice. Taxes. Alright.
Also, did you guys know that The Fall of Numenor was originally supposed to be a time travel book about the disappearance of Atlantis?
Really?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's kind of
I'm reading about it in my very large book that I've had for many years that I've never opened before, called The History of Middle Earth. And I guess he and C.S. Lewis were like, we should write stories that we want, because no one else is.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. And then C.S. Lewis wrote the Space Trilogy. So
That's pretty darn sweet.
he stayed a little more on task than Tolkien did, I guess.
A little, but then you read like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe series, like just all of
Sure.
those books, and the mythology is all over the place. You know, like
yeah.
his mixing Christianity with the Greeks and the Romans, and
Of course.
and,
Why
and you're
not?
like, and paganism and Santa, and you're like,
Heck yeah.
Get that Santa.
Good stuff.
like maybe just pick one. Pick one mythology / religion to insert in here, because it's getting very confusing.
That's why they've created like their own amalgamation of one. So
Yeah.
look at
No,
this
I'm
as
pretty
its own
sure it's just Christian, pretty much.
Yeah, I know they use like a lot of the like vehicles of like other like pagan like religions and stuff too, which is interesting, and definitely a Christian lens. But we're gonna go ahead and start at the top of the combat round off with
Yeah.
Valenith.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Valnith turns to Ferothian and says, "Get to the fire. We need as much as we can. Wolves hate that." And Valnith will. So where can we see based off of this? Where are the wolves?
So
they're right there.
there's one wolf here. I don't know if you guys can see this. So
I can't,
as far as the wolves that are known, there are 2 wolves here, 1 wolf here, 1 wolf here.
Which one what was the growling one that I shot at?
This one.
Nice.
Ooh, that one's scary looking.
Yeah.
Well, so
Those are
Valnith,
work.
what he's gonna do is he's just gonna yell back to the camp and says, "We're under siege by wolves. Prepare yourselves." And Valnith will take out of his sheath. He's got a couple really nifty arrows that he's been keeping on him. So let's see what kind of arrows. Okay, yeah, he's got some +1 arrows, or does he want dwarven arrows? He wants to use a dwarven arrow. So he's gonna knock a dwarven arrow, and he's gonna like kind of get behind his little makeshift shelter here, and like be shooting through one of the slats of like the makeshift thing towards the same wolf that he had originally hit.
Okay, go ahead
And
and
so
make
it's
your
gonna-
attack.
So that will be a hopefully good 15 to hit.
And with that 15, it is definitely a hit.
Sweet.
So you loose
That
another
will
arrow
be-
at the same wolf that you hit previously.
That'll be 10 piercing damage for Valnith.
It hits its mark again as you hear another, but you can hear the sound of paws rushing in your general direction.
Nice. Valnith like does his best to take cover to like have something between the two of them, and continues to yell back, "They're upon us! Grab fire!" That's what he'll say, and that will be his turn. Yep.
It is now the warg's turn, not the warg's turn. So you shot him earlier as he begins to creep closer. 5, 10, 15, 20. You can now see the outline of a giant wolf in the shadows of your lantern. Caliphyr, with his horn in hand, he looks to it and he says, "Warg! Warg to the north!" As you see growling, it's like a growl kind of slash chuckle. And you hear he looses a howl, and you can hear in all directions surrounding you howls of wolves off in the distance. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump down to Baradorok.
Okay, my horsey boy is. They're not. There's no stable or anything, right? They're just kind of
No,
like
they're
tied
just kind
to
of in the
posts, like makeshift. Oh no, just not even tied down.
I mean, they're tied to the carts, and so there are 2 carts. One of them is like the larger one from what's it called, Mirabar, and
Yep.
the 2 horses are tied to it along with most of the ponies. And then there's the like herbalist's like kind of potions cart, which
Yep.
has the rest of the ponies tied to that one.
Okay, but I'd never tied Baradorok down because there was no real point.
Baradorok's a good one.
Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He is to me. And
Picks
I
you
think
up
it
with
would
his
probably
teeth
be-
and throws you on his saddle.
I was gonna say that would probably it'll have to be my action to mount him. wouldn't
Yes.
it? Okay. Well, he's just gonna use that movement and he's gonna ready an action, just in case.
Which brings us down to our Gondorian friends, meaning Frothian. He looks back to Valnith as he sees you duck behind the shelter, and he says, "Oh, yes, Valnith!" As he runs over, he grabs a, basically a stick, basically a torch, and he comes over, kicking Owen in the face, and Owen just kind of rolls over, not really knowing what's going on, and continues back to sleep. He's like, "Oh, sorry," as he goes over and he lights the, basically the stick on fire. Frothian is actually, he has plate, so he He's pretty thick.
Nice.
He's pretty bulky, and he's got a sword as well.
Yeah,
This
He is a
his
squire of Gondor, right?
Yeah.
Like he's
This is not his first battle, so he takes it.
He
and
carries a
says-
big shield around everywhere. He's pretty strong too.
And he's going to use his action to light this torch, and then he's going to addition 15, finish his movement by parking himself right next to it. I'll say that there is a small little barrier
Yeah,
that
it's nothing big.
probably stands between kind of like these three. So I'm gonna flip that. Kind of stands between these three. It's definitely breakable for sure, but
Yeah.
it does cut line of sight for sure. And then Arfanath, he is also going to spend his action lighting a torch, and he's also going to try to wake up Herlinin and Barrelass, which he easily does with Barrelass. As he shakes her awake, he says, Lass, we're under attack. As she looks and she sits up straight, again, clutching her kind of chest area. She searches through her bag and she pulls out a dagger. And Herlinin, he is just like looking around. It's going to take him a turn in order to even understand what's going on. At this point, we also have both Aedric and Mirabar. They've been awakened, so they kind of know what's going on in the chaos of battle. They're going to try to run and grab their weapons, but it's not their turn yet. So that's what the Gondorians are going to do. It is now the dwarves. The dwarves are just in a full-out sprint towards this, and so they're going to spend their turn doing their full sprint. So they'll be moving. So 5, 10,
it's okay. They're good at sprinting.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They're stout, but good runners. We saw Gimli.
They're natural sprinters. They're just not good at long distance. I mean, think of how much speed Bombal gets when they're trying to outrun the wargs in the Hobbit movie. He books
That
it.
is true.
I actually watched I was watching like a behind the scenes thing for that, and it's hilarious because the actor for Bombal was wearing like a 35 kilogram fat suit,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we just want you to try and like outrun all the others, because it'll be funny. But they let him wear like actual sneakers for the scene, which is why you don't see his feet. So all the others are running normally, and they're like, but they weren't told he was going to try to outrun them, so they're all running normally. So their shock when he sprints past them in a 35 kilogram fat suit is real, because they didn't know that was going to happen.
That's actually hilarious. I love that. That's
Yeah.
too funny. Oh. Okay, so that is the dwarves' movement. They go ahead and they are now armed and they have collected their weapons. A couple of them have a little bit more of movement, and you actually hear Vig, who is the leader of them, say, "Oi, defensive positions, boys! We will last the night." As Vig, so I'll show you. So Vig is here. He's the older, kind of looking at them. Vogar is here. He has a giant battle axe. Oh, actually, no, he has a mattock. And then basically these two have axes. So what is it? Vig and Narvik. And then some names. Narvi,
I got it. Don't worry.
Yeah, Narvi. He has a bow. Cool. And so they're gonna go. So Narvi's already spent all of his movements. Go 5, 10, and Vig is gonna move to stay kind of close, and Narvik is gonna kind of move a step forward as he clutches his axe. Which brings us down to the wolves. You hear howls off in the distance as these two wolves, 5, 10, just charge in 5, 10, 15, and initiate combat with Kyrian, and they're going to go ahead and make attacks. They do benefit from their pack tactics ability, which gives them
Rude.
advantage on their attack rolls. They are going to be using bite attacks.
You're the thickest though, so you're good. Maybe.
Pretty
Yeah,
darn
right.
thick. All right, first attack is going to be a 18, which does not hit.
Does not.
And the other one is going to be a 20, 22.
Dang it, that hits.
And that is going to be for 9 points of damage.
Oh
Piercing
crap!
damage.
Solid.
Okay.
Solid chomp.
Wow, guys, I'm gonna die.
No, you're good.
This guy.
You got Theodric. You haven't seen him in battle. He's gonna help you. I promise.
15,
promise.
20, 25 is going to go into contact with Caliph here.
What happened to me telling Caliph here to be my shield?
He was there, kind of. He told him to blow the horn. So on his turn, that's what he's doing, is he's blowing this horn.
Right.
Doesn't that do something? Doesn't that have an
does.
effect?
Yeah, it does have an effect. Basically, everyone has to pass wisdom saving throws, and if they fail, they gain frightened. So basically they have to repeat the saving throw until the connection passes. So he potentially has the ability to clear these wolves out of here, potentially. So he will be doing that once that actually happens. But this wolf is going to go ahead. It is just this one wolf, so he's going to make an attack, but he hits for a 21 against Caliph here.
Oh
For
yeah, we're going down.
6 points of piercing damage. Which brings us to this wolf, who is going to 5, 10, 15, 20 go into Frothian. He has actually disadvantage on his attack because of the fire that Frothian has. That is going to be a not hit. What turned from an 18 went down to a 7. So he does not hit Frothian with his attack, and that is going to be the wolves' turn. Which brings us to Kyrian.
Nice. How would I switch my weapons?
Bonus action.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I will switch my weapons with my bonus action to my broadsword and dagger.
Perfect. You do so, and these wolves are... You can tell that these are two of the wolves that have been eating on that pony. They have blood covering their mouths, and they are nippy and ready for fight.
Great. And then I'm gonna take some swings at him with my broadsword.
Okay.
So I will attack, I don't know, the one that bit me.
So it's going to be the one down here.
Okay. The first one is gonna be a 15 to hit,
15 hits.
and that will do a whopping 8 points of damage.
Okay.
And then the next one is, oof. Why am I rolling like crap? A 9 to hit.
9 will not hit, unfortunately.
Of course.
Yeah, you
Don't you do
strike him on
wielding?
the... You basically clock him right on the top of the head, on the brow. A large cut is there as he kind of backs up a little bit. You swipe again, kind of almost like a warning swipe as he like kind of backs up a little bit, looking fierce, ready to do some more attacks. Is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Theodric.
Get him.
Okay, quick question to Kyrian. Do you think you can handle these two wolves?
I can do my best.
I'm gonna trust the Caliph here has your back. And
Thanks.
I am going... Sorry, I have a plan.
Get
5, 10,
the
15,
alpha.
20, 25. I
So
am going to take
are-
opportunity.
You
From
are
this guy?
moving outside of his radius. So as you pass by him, he's going to get an attack of opportunity. Choose that spot.
Yep.
And that is going to be for a 22.
That does hit.
I'm rolling real good, guys. I have no idea what is going
Stop.
on.
Stop it.
Spice. That's
No
going to
more.
be 10 points of piercing damage.
Okey-dokey.
latches on, gives you a bite as you run past.
It's okay, I'll kill it later. And then
I'll be back,
as
don't worry.
I approach the warg, I'm going to use my bonus action to go into a rage.
Perfect. And actually, as you approach this warg, you notice that it is noticeably larger, quite more muscular as it growls, and it almost looks at you challengingly, like it is ready for a fight. Yeah, you go into a rage, seeing the red eyes of this beastly creature.
You are much bigger than most wargs I've killed, but that just means I'll get a better pelt from you.
Good luck with that.
So have said the last 5 wargs I've killed. And I am going to take a swipe at him with my Maravich's longsword.
Okay, cool.
Is this the first time you're using this?
Yes, does a 22 hit.
22 hits.
It is 9 points of slashing damage. And then, because I reached my last level, I get 2 attacks in a turn, don't I?
For one action. So, yep.
Awesome. Does a 24 hit,
24 hits.
Oh,
and that is 8 points of damage.
Yeah, he says, good luck, as you slice down right on his left shoulder. It cuts deep, and as you slide it out, he yells in pain, and you slash him right in the other shoulder. And just, it just goes in like butter. This is a sharp, very, very strong sword. As he just implanted down into it. And he jumps back a little bit, ready, he's like... I just keep thinking to myself, how dare you make me bleed my own blood? But yeah, he growls at you. Which brings us down to Calafir. And so he's going to go ahead and use his action to blow his horn, which affects everybody in a 20-foot radius. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. So that's these guys. 5, 10, 5, 10, 20. Everybody, so all of these groups. And so essentially what's going to happen is all of them have to make wisdom saving throws. So this one, first down here, got a 3, so he fails. So he cannot get willingly any closer to Calafir until he passes that on his turn. Second one was a 22 passes. Oh, and it's a DC of 13. The one that's actually attacking him, 4, so he is now afraid. And this warg that is up here, he's doing good. He got a 20, so he is not afraid. So basically, this guy down here can't get any closer, and this guy has to run, basically disengage his next turn in order to move away. Which means anyone that gets closer to them, at least those 2 wolves cannot get any closer until they pass that check. And that's all Calafir can do. Does he have any? I'm looking to see if he has any bonus action. I don't think so. That's going to be his... Yeah, that's going to be his turn. Which brings us to the top of the combat round. Back to Valinith. Oh, and on this turn...
oh my gosh.
More wolves.
Oh my gosh.
The rest of the pack joins the battle. Yeah. That's it. Okay, cool. Valinith, your turn.
Yeah, Valinith sees that the fire's doing its trick, and so he calls to all the people who are wakey-wakeying around and says, quick, grab some fire, it's your best defense. And Valinith basically takes like some of the sticks that are, as a bonus action, takes some of the sticks that are like kind of strewn about and just kind of hucks them back towards the people who are groggily getting up. In Valinith, let's see. He's actually going to move. Okay, so he's going to move. He's actually gonna. He can't move through here, can he?
No, he can't.
Okay. I guess
Yeah,
he's
it's
gonna
very
stay
tight
where he
quarters
is.
right here. There it is.
And he's gonna shoot this guy in the rear
Okay.
or in the side or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's gonna do. So he's gonna knock another dwarven arrow to see if he hits it. Pretty good. I'm assuming that's gonna hit. 25 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
Okay.
Look at this. Valinith actually hitting stuff with his bow.
I know. That's 9 points of piercing damage.
Nice.
I mean, I only got the one action, but hey.
Yeah,
Better
as
than
you
nothing,
do
right?
so, you can see that there are already 3 arrows sticking out of this wolf. And this one actually goes right into his chest. It looks to be hurting in dire straits at this point.
They're kind of thick.
Which
Those
one
are
is he
3 solid
attacking?
hit.
This one.
The one by Prothean.
Got it.
Yeah, and feel free, guys, if you want to point, make sure to make your mouse broadcast in the bottom right corner, and you can like point around and do stuff, including even dragging your own character like you did, Theodric. So feel free to do that, like your movement, so I'm not doing stuff. So feel free.
All good.
Who's next?
Oh yeah, sorry. So that was Valinith. Next are the Wargs, and so they're gonna start 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. As they basically are in the radius of this, they're gonna stand just outside on the field. These two are going to. 25. I'll just move first. This one, 5, 10, 15, is going to start attacking the caravan. These guys are all tied up. So let's start kind of from the top here and make our way downwards. So these guys aren't doing anything. These guys are going to do what they can to make attacks. Yeah, this wolf is going to attack Frothian. He gets it's neutral because he's got his pack tactics. And so that is going to be a 2, natural 2 will not hit. This guy is going to make his attack. So he's outside of that 10 feet, so he gets advantage. That is going to be a 12, which does end up hitting. Oof. Does end up hitting Narvik. So
Narvik, no.
for a total of maximum damage,
Oh no, he's
14
dead.
points of damage.
He's dead.
Oh!
Narvik
He
is
lets
done.
loose. He pounces on top of Narvik and starts tearing away at his shoulder. Narvik is able to, with his axe, push him off, but he is bleeding badly, profusely. As this ends up happening, so that's those 2 attacks. This one is going to go ahead and attack Valinith. He is within the 20 feet, so he's going to have a disadvantage on the attack against Valinith.
And I got my stick shelter in the way too.
Yeah, kind of.
It's in those 3 spaces you said. So
And so
it's like in the.
I'll give you a +2 to your AC with that.
Nice.
So that's going to
take
be
it.
at disadvantage. 14 to hit.
It does not hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's unable to climb over the shelter, as it were. We'll go to these guys. This guy is 5, 10, 15. He's going to have to disengage.
Ooh, get him.
Yeah, he's using
Get
his
him, period.
disengage action to do that. This one's because they're still within 5 feet. He's going to go ahead and still make an attack at advantage against Steve Calefear. For a natural
Calefear?
20. Or, sorry,
I'm
Period.
confused.
just a natural 20.
He should
which
be at
is-
disadvantage if he's frightened.
This guy's not frightened.
Oh. Well,
This
he
guy-
also shouldn't have pack tactics right now.
He's within
'Cause that guy
5 feet of
disengaged.
Valinith.
It's only 5 feet. Okay. That's fine. Hit me with that crit.
Yeah, it's 14 points of piercing damage. This guy is
Can't do
is
anything.
frightened, so he has to disengage. He's going to disengage. 5.
Is he disengaging or fleeing?
He's disengaging, so he's using his
Oh,
action
okay.
to actually disengage. He's going to loop around the back there. This guy's going to make an attack at the caravan, which the caravan has an AC of 14 and a total hit points. Well, I'm just going to group it all together instead of individual creatures. Its total hit points is going to be 62. And it gets a 13, so it does not hit the caravan. The horses and ponies are kind of kicking out, lashing at this wolf that's trying to do its thing. And that's all of the wolves for now, which brings us to Broader.
Okie dokie. Baradorok is going to actually. I keep forgetting to pull up Baradorok's stat block, so give me a second.
You can kick people. And charge them, right? Yeah,
and
charge.
He does have a charge. I also forgot what feat I took for him. I think I got strong. I took a feat for him during the fellowship phase. Okay. I always forget that he has Nalda's body as well. Sorry, forgive me. I'm just finding my
Oh, you're
stuff.
good.
Oh, yeah, take all the time you need.
Okay, cool. With that, Baradorok is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and he is going to try and hit the wall with a Who's attack.
All right. Go ahead and make your roll.
Oh, no, yeah, that's a miss. That's only a 7.
7 definitely does miss. Yes. Okay.
Bummer.
Which brings us to our Gondorian friend. So, Frothian, he's going to go ahead with his long sword, make an attack at this.
Finish him.
So that is definitely going to hit at a natural 16. And he's going to deal. He's wielding this one hand because he's got a torch in another. So it's 6 points of slashing damage at this wolf. Frothian's a little thick, actually. I didn't realize he's a guy. Which slays this wolf, actually. Frothian takes his sword and he just chops down on the already wounded wolf, and you hear a yelp as it falls.
And Valna says, "Oh, good job, lad."
He looks back at you and
As he,
smiles,
like-
and he says, "This isn't my first time," as he kind of readies himself for the next wolf attack. He is going to go ahead and spend the remainder of his movement, and he's going to move. So he can go here, and he's going to kind of wrap like that. Into this kind of next area. He doesn't want to take an attack of opportunity, that's for sure. Which brings us to freeing up Arfanath. So he's going to go ahead and 5, 10, 15, 20 move here with his torch just in case he needs it. Which then brings us down to our other characters here. They are armed. So we got a spear on Eadric, and we got a dagger on Mirabar. And Mirabar's going to go ahead and 5, 10, 15, 20, kind of hide back there. Kind of awake, we grab a sword here with, it's Berlinen. He is pretty drunk, so he's just kind of standing his ground. And actually, Barrelass is going to retreat 5, 10, 15, inside here. Kind of clumping around the center area with these dwarves. So that's all of them, and then that brings us to our dwarves. And so, you can see, you begin to hear grunting. As actually, Vogar begins to rage. He comes charging in. And same thing with, basically escorted by Big. Yeah, they're gonna all release some attacks here pretty soon. I think that's all of them. Okay, so we're first gonna go ahead and start here with axe attack, which misses at a 12. Now Vogar or Vig is gonna go ahead and make his attack, which he gets a 20 non-natural, which will hit with his axe. That is going to be 4 points of slashing damage. And then we have our Matic attack here by Vogar.
What's a matic?
It's like basically it's like the Warhammer, but it has like a spike on the back end of it. It's kind of like you could flip it over. It's got a hammer on the front and a spike on the back. Yeah, that is going to hit for a 14 for 8 points of bludgeoning damage. As they are just releasing their dwarven fury upon these creatures. So, yep, there's that. And then we're going to go ahead and jump down to I mixed the warg and the wolves up. The wolves should be but it's the warg's turn. So he's in combat currently. And he is going to go ahead and rotate 5, 10, 15, and make 2 attacks against the Theodric. First, he doesn't have pack tactics, so no advantage or anything. His first attack is going to be for a 17. Is that right?
No.
Second attack is going to be for a 21.
Yes.
Got high hits. Where you're just rolling.
That's
good.
I'm rolling pretty good. It's starting to get a little bit more hit or miss. It's either like I'm rolling like a natural like 2s or 3s or like high numbers. That is going to be 12 points of piercing damage, halved since you are raging.
Yep.
And yeah, that's what he's going to do. And that brings us down to Kyrian.
Cool. I will use my bonus action. Oh wait, yeah, I'll use. Oh, he came over there. Fine. I'll use my bonus action to disengage with my cloak.
Yep. You can go ahead and drag him whichever direction you want.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I check off because it only has 2 charges of this per battle. So I disengage 5, 10, 15, and I start attacking Alpha Warg.
You are currently flanking him, meaning you get advantage on your attack.
Beautiful. So the first one is gonna be a 25 to hit.
That'll definitely hit. This is
before you roll damage, can I ask a quick question to Kyle?
Yes.
The Vambraces of Hammer, how do I activate those? Would they be a bonus action or?
What is that? Is that basically like the song that gets sung? Yeah, that would be a bonus action.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Damage.
7 points of damage for that first one. And then the next one, good thing for advantage, is going to be a 24 to hit.
24 is going to hit.
That'll be 6 points of damage.
Every little bit.
Every little poke. All right. That is a damaged warg as you unleash your fury upon him. All right, which brings us down to Theodric. Yeah, the bottom of the turn, I'm kind of nervous for my wolves at the bottom of the turn. Because I'm like, it's all three of these guys, like, right back to back.
I'm going to use my bonus action to activate the Van Braces of Hammer.
Okay.
Which will be the Song of Battle. Which means for the next 3 combat rounds, Calefir, Kyrian, and I all get +2 to our attack damage.
Sweet.
And I am going to attack the Warg again.
Perfect. Yeah, I think all three.
That's
got
a nat
advantage
20 plus 6. So what's critical damage again? How do I
Max
do
Just
max
maximum damage.
Okay. That is 16 points of damage because +2 for my rage and then +2 for the Song of Hammer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you just lay down the fury as you begin to at first begin to hum. Like you feel like this kind of like bloodlust come over you, and then you suddenly remember the song from your childhood, the songs of battle, and it kind of snaps you out of this hate and this vigor, and it gives you clarity in your mind, which gives you clarity in your strikes. And as you do so, you see the wolf turn around as it gets hit by a couple of attacks from Kyrian, and you have a perfect opening as you slam down right into the top of its neck. It goes in deep, and it goes in very, very brutally. Not severing the head from this creature, as it is pretty thick, but it leaves a big gashing wound. You hear and it begins to howl, "To me! To me!" as it screams in wolf-ish work speech.
So it's definitely not a fatal blow, but he is hurting a lot,
He
right?
is hurting. He is hurting.
And then I've got my second attack. Did you say this was at advantage, or was that just Kyrian's?
Yeah, it's an advantage because you're flanking.
Oh, nice. I didn't do the other one at advantage. 23?
23 will hit.
And that's another 15 points of damage.
Oh my lord.
You slam down on this wolf, attempting to hit the same exact location to cut its head clean off. It moves, and you strike its back shoulder, and it cuts down deep. It is bleeding profusely, still barely standing. As it looks to you, it goes, "It's not worth it. It's not worth it." As he looks as if back, like side to side, as if looking for an escape. With that, it is, yeah, Caleb's turn. He is gonna go ahead. He has all of his stuff that he can do, which is so we'll go ahead. He is going to use his. Do I do it? Yeah, I do it. He goes in with his sword, and he's just gonna make 2 attacks.
Heck yeah.
With flanking.
With
Finish it.
Yeah, he's gonna just do 2 attacks.
The kill steals are real in this battle.
Yeah.
I don't care for kill steals.
For a
As long as the
20
job gets done.
for a 23, which it doesn't matter because he had 1 hit point left.
Oh yeah, Caleb here.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah, Calefir comes in and he sees this wounded wolf, and he takes his sword and plunges it completely in the side, piercing all the way through to the other end. He withdraws his blade, and this warg falls over dead. And he turns around and he looks and he says, "Are you doing okay?" As he looks to see kind of the hurting, both of you guys taking attacks, and he sees both of them. He says, "Stand behind me," as he pulls out his bonus action, he pulls out his shield, his great shield. And he's going to go ahead and charge into both of them for the rest of the movement. Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He calls out to the 2 of you, "Behind me!" And with that, that's the end of the combat round, meaning we
Could
jump back.
I still have movement remaining.
Yes.
Can I still use that or no?
Since we're past your turn, just make sure at the end of your turn to make sure to initiate that. But yeah, probably not this combat round, but
Yep. All good.
Yep. Especially because this warg was still technically here at the end of your turn. So
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna go ahead and move back to Valneth at the top of the next combat round.
So I have a question. If I decide to move here, will I have disadvantage hitting him? Or
If you're using a melee attack, yes. If you're using your
how about
ranged
here?
attack, no, you do not have disadvantage.
Valinith saying, "This is my moment. Have at thee!" And he, with the bonus action, sheathes his bow and he takes out his elven broadsword
Okay.
and says, "Have at me, evildoer!" And he attempts to give it a nice little smack on the back.
A nice poke. All right, yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead
Nice
and roll
poke.
for attack.
Again, so what did we say the hit was? 5 or 5?
Yeah, +5.
It's plus my dexterity. Okay.
Yep, +5.
So I add +2 to this. Oh wow. Okay. You know what? I'll play it because it's very Valinith. That was a natural 1 for a 6. To hit.
Yeah, you lunge forward with your sword. You kind of like very skillfully put your bow away and switch to your sword as you lunge forward, jumping over the barrier in order to stab down at it. The wolf easily steps aside as you plunge your sword down into the ground. It is going to take a bonus action to remove this. I guess you've already used your bonus action, so you're stuck.
I have.
Your sword is pinned into the ground. As of now.
It's like, Jorats, quicker than I thought. As he. Okay. That's
All right.
his turn.
The next is the warg, who is dead, which means that Baradorok.
Baradorok is going to try and hit the wolf again.
Okay. The wolf has now turned his attentions away from the caravan and is now face to face with this giant warhorse kicking at him.
Hang on. It is. Yeah, that's a 20.
A 20 will hit.
Not natural.
It will hit and this will hurt.
2d6.
It's pretty good. 2d6. I guess it's
Plus
2
3.
horses.
So it's a 12.
Yeah, Baradorok just looses 2 hooves down on the top of it. The wolf is like darting around trying to look for a place where it can bite, but he does take a giant blow to his back from Baradorok. Which brings us down to the Gondorian. So Frothian has made his way over, meaning he is actually he's going to seeing the what's happening between Valineth over there. He sees the dwarves are doing their thing. He is going to not disengage, but he's going to take an opportunity attack from this wolf. Does hit him at a 20.
Cool. He's doing his darndest.
10 points of
Oh.
damage. Still good. He's kicking, and he's gonna come around and jump on the back of this wolf to flank it. And so he's gonna use his broadsword in order to hit with advantage.
Got flanked.
potentially.
Yeah.
But it does not hit at 12. So
Oh my.
Yeah.
Freaking Frothian.
he tried. He tried. But that brings us down to
Arthanath.
who at this point he is calling, "Gather behind the fire! Behind the fire! Create a defensive barrier!" as he's like calling out like these tactics to everybody, which it is now their turn, so they are going to follow suit. And so they're going to just start moving around this barrier. Dwarves are going to do what dwarves do, which is their turn. So we are
Diggy
going
diggy
to-
hole.
Was that?
Right. No, I was just making a dwarf joke. Don't worry.
Yeah, they are digging a hole, absolutely. And we're going to start making attacks. So first and foremost, we are going to have Narvi with his bow. That is going to hit at a 14 against this wolf. It's going to be for 5 points of piercing damage. And then these dwarves So they're gonna start moving around to get and
Getting
they're
him
gonna start
in.
bullying this wolf. And so first and foremost, we're gonna have Narvik is going to make his first axe attack, or his one axe attack for a natural 20, which means it's gonna be 10 points of slashing damage to the
Gryffindor.
To Gryffindor.
Next is going to be Vig, who is going to make his attack, and that is going to be at advantage. He does hit at 18 for a total of 7 points of slashing damage.
So
It's crazy, like how quickly you can kind of like flash kill things when you just surround. And then lastly, we got Vogar with his Matic. At advantage, that is going to be a 12, which will not hit. That's really bad. Yeah, so that's all the dwarves are going to be able to do, which brings us to the wolves. And so seeing this wolf seemingly in a bad position, he is going to go ahead and he's going to disengage. 5, 10, 15, 20. 25. He's gonna move that direction. These wolves, looking at what's going on here, are going to circle around, staying out of the 20 feet radius. This wolf is going to. This wolf is also going to disengage.
what? Oh. Only because the sword was in the dirt. That's the only
Because
reason.
The sword was in the dirt. I was thinking about making that attack, but I was like, I gotta be smart. All right, so we got 2 wolves that are afraid here, so they're gonna see if they're gonna pass it. This one down here is to pass a 13, which he does not. He got a 9, so he's still afraid. And then this wolf up here, he got a natural 13, so he is good. The wolves are gonna start moving. This guy's already moved. These guys are gonna stay just attacking here.
Isn't the one frightened though?
So he can't willingly move closer. He has been basically
Got
gets
it.
disadvantage. So since Caleb here was the one that engaged him, they're still gonna do what they can. They're still stronger in numbers technically, so he doesn't get advantage on his attack. But yeah, they're gonna start making attacks. So these two, this one's gonna first get advantage on his attack against, which he gets a 23 to hit. He does hit for a total of 7 points of piercing damage to Caleb. Gosh. And this guy's gonna attack just normally.
Caleb here, don't die.
Caleb here's doing pretty good. He's sitting at 26. He's living the dream here.
All right.
Okay, so just normal attack, and that is going to be the same at 23. I got 2 18s, but it doesn't matter. But normal attack for a total of 5 points of piercing damage. Now down to 21. I have such a high armor class. This is stupid.
I agree. That's how I feel, bro.
This is really dumb. All right, well, that's all the wolves, meaning we are moving on to the next combat, which is Kyrian.
Yeah, I'm gonna go help my man Calefir over here. So 5, 10, and I will be smacking him around with my broadsword.
If you move one
that
space to the north, you will get flanking.
Oh, do I not? I thought we just had to be both on the.
Basically, they have to have like a mode of escape, and so
So
yep.
15 though.
Cool. Yeah, you
Okay.
get advantage on this attack. On whatever
Cool.
attacks you're doing.
First attack will be a nat 20.
So maximum damage is...
Max damage is 13.
Is that with the +2 that I give you from my?
15 with the +2.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Caleb here, you make your way around to the back of this uninjured wolf, and you kind of spin around and like stab right into its hindquarters, practically all but disabling its back legs. As
Take
you just
that.
slash down, you pull back, ready for another attack.
Alrighty.
Get it.
23 to hit.
That will hit.
That'll be... Man, I'm rolling so poopy. 10 with the +2 from Theodric.
You swipe down and you
one-
cut off its back left paw.
That's right. Ward. Or wolf, whatever. And then I will use my bonus action to wield my dagger.
The non-glowing dagger, the elven blade, twirls in the air as you attempt to plunge it down on top of your foe
Another nat 20.
for a maximum of how much damage?
11.
In one fell swoop, you take out a wolf.
Yeah.
Oh my
So just
gosh.
take your dagger, take it into its spine, and run it down the back. There's no way
Yeah.
it's surviving that. Yeah, that is a very dead wolf.
Take
With
that.
with that being the case, is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Do you have movement that you want to do?
I do. I have 15 left, so. Caleb here.
He looks-
You got this.
he nods as he basically he takes his shield. The wolf smacks against it as you disappear into the room.
15. I'll be over.
Perfect. And that brings us down to Theodric.
Okie dokie. Theodric is going to move to engage another wolf.
Okay.
5, 10, 15, 20. And I'm going to attack it.
Right, perfect.
Get it.
A 7 on the first one misses, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And that is a nat 20.
For a maximum of plus with your +2.
For a maximum of 14.
14. So this is first blood.
Oh no,
on
it's
this
It's 16.
16. Yeah, sorry. I forgot the +2 from my song.
First blood on this guy. As you strike down, you charge into the fray of battle. Again, you're quite adept at fighting wolves. On foot, on horseback, it doesn't matter. You just slash up, and predicting its dodging movements. You are basically slashing into its dodge, and you hit him straight and true. Cool. Anything else?
I don't think I have anything else for my bonus action at this point. No. Nope, that's it.
All right, and so Califir is going to
Okay.
move one space over as he kind of blocks the distance between Kyrian and the wolf, and he is going to go ahead and unleash a attack. So he's going to actually use his action surge as well, and so he's got 4 attacks that he's using against this wolf.
Oh!
So first attack is unfortunately not going to hit at a. I'm not rolling on my character sheet. I gotta roll on my character sheet. Still doesn't hit. So the first attack doesn't hit. Second attack does hit at a 21 for a total of max damage. So that's gonna be with another +2, 12. Slashing
Woo.
damage.
And this one I already hit, right?
You did already hit this one. As Califir slashes down onto it. That is going to be remaining, and then he's going to make another 2 attacks at it. First attack 13 will not hit, unfortunately. The second attack, a 14 just hits. For a total of enough. He slays this.
Woo! Nice. Let's go.
Clearing out the back end of this map. Califair turns around and he hears the wolves in the distance and people shouting, dwarves in combat. He picks up his shield and he is going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 towards the fray. And
How much
with
movement
that,
does he have?
he was that.
How much movement does it? Because didn't he move a couple
He
already?
moved 5 feet. He has 25 left.
Cool.
Yep, so he's going to go to that position, and that's going to be the top of the combat, going back to Valinith.
And Valinith, disgusted at the fact of the cowardice of the wolf, he says, "Huh! Just when I was about to meet, you were about to meet your maker." And he uses a bonus action to pull his bow back out, and he moves one space up, kind of like putting himself between Everlast and the wolf. And he's like, "This shot is going to be true." And he's actually going to try to do an aimed shot to, it's if he can, to incapacitate it if he can.
Okay, yep. You
Meaning
can go ahead and make
keep-
your attack.
Right.
Listen.
Even if it completely misses, or not completely misses, but even if it like doesn't completely cut his movement down, he wants to make sure that the guy's wounded enough.
Yeah,
So
go ahead
he's
and
gonna
make a hit roll, an attack roll at disadvantage for that aim shot.
15 to hit.
15 will hit.
That or 26. What would you take? I take.
I'll take the disadvantage. Still hits though.
That will be 9 points of piercing damage.
As you shoot it right in the hind quarter. As it falls down, it drags itself. This thing looks like it's barely hanging on. Speaking, that's actually one remaining hit point on this wolf. So
Solid. Is he incapacitated?
yeah, he's not moving. His back legs aren't working. So he's gonna be trying to escape, but
Does Valinith still only have the one attack?
yeah, his skull
He's
and
a-
blast doesn't allow him to.
Got it.
I am lame. It is what it is.
Got it.
Warg is dead, which brings us to Eriador. I keep forgetting to make attacks with this wolf against Eriador.
Oh,
Nice.
well, feel free to
Solid.
keep forgetting.
I just like looking at this wolf, and I'm like, he should have at least gotten at least 3 attacks on Rock at this point, or 2 attacks.
He's just intimidated by the
does
horde.
a 16
Daunted.
hit this?
Yeah,
wolf?
16 will hit.
6. 9 damage with a buff attack.
Right.
Nice.
You stomp down on this poor wolf as he's just trying to dodge, figuring out how to have survived this confrontation with this giant war horse, and it's not looking too good. Which brings us down to the Gondorians, meaning Prothean is going to, with his sword, he's going to fall back 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and he's going to, with his torch and sword in hand, he's like, "Stay behind me, just in case there's any more." Pretty brave for a boy of near like 12 years old.
He's Gondorian.
He is
I'll tell you.
Gondorian.
He knows.
Wait, Prothean's only 12?
Yep, he's only 12.
He's about to die.
Oh, sh-
A great bow arrow come from the darkness right into his chest.
Get Boromired.
So
Get
sad.
Boromired by the Urukai in the distance. So anyways, that's what he's gonna do. Arfanaf is just gonna hold his position, including, and then the next are all these people. They're all gonna hold their position. Nobody has ranged attacks. However, we do have a 5, 10, 15 dwarf who doesn't range attack. He's gonna attempt. Do you want this thing dead? This wolf?
Oh heck yeah.
Okay. He's
I mean,
gonna-
he can't move, right?
well,
they
he
can't
he
talk,
move,
so
he
it's
can move
not
half
like-
speed. So
And it can't talk. It's not like a warg or anything, so.
I wasn't sure if you just wanted to like keep it from like retreating or like I don't know what you want to do with it.
No, we want it done for. We want the meat.
Yep. He's got a 14 to hit, which does hit, and that is going to be for any damage or movement. So that's which brings us to more dwarves. In a fury, go.
Mordor.
5, 10.
The plural of Mordor.
25. I'm gonna have my dwarves running here. 20
Yeah, beady boys.
Actually, Narvig's not looking too high, so he's gonna kind of take a more defensive position here by this barrier. Okay, we're gonna make attacks. So first and foremost, we're gonna go with the Vig. Vig is always gonna go first in this situation, which is going to be a 14 to hit.
Does it?
And he gets 3 points of slashing damage. Solid. And now we have a Vogar who's going to make his attack, which he gets a natural 14, which will hit, and that is going to be a total of 7 damage, which is enough to take care of this wolf. Woo! Yeah, it's looking. The numbers are thinning, that's for sure. So that's all the dwarves and all that they're able to do, which brings us to wolves. So this guy's already in combat. These ones are going to start kind of piling in here. 5, 10, 15, 5, 15, 20, I'm actually going to attack. I'm going to move 5, 10, 15
Boo.
around to the next side and actually make an attack. Don't forget that. Which I don't think a 9 is going to hit Broad Rock. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so we're going to start making attacks. So these guys have advantage, both of them against you. We're going to start with the top one. At advantage.
Wait, why would they have advantage?
Because pack tactics.
Pack tactics.
Oh, okay.
Yep. As long as they're within 5 feet of each other or another wolf, then they have advantage. And so this
Okay.
one is going to, which is why I want to clump them as much as possible. Yeah, this one's going to make his attack, which that's going to be a 14, which I'm assuming doesn't hit.
Nope.
The second one is going to make attacks, and that's going to also be a 15, which will not hit. And
Nope.
then this one gets advantage on this attack for a natural 20, which is going to be
No. They're gonna die.
10 damage. Oh, sorry, not 10. 14.
Ooh.
As the wolf just charges in, jumping kind of on the back of Vig and just begins tearing away at the cloak on his back. Yeah, Vogar is not going to be happy about that as he looks around and he just grimaces. Brother! As he picks up his mattock ready for more fighting. Cool. Kyrian, it's your turn.
Yeah, it is. Broderick, you got this, bro. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I'm not quite flanking there, am I?
Yeah, so you just have to be at least one space away.
So
'Cause
here.
he's got creatures to his back too, so you can't really, but you can go all the way to the back too if you want to.
Oh,
So
I
one of
have a
these 2 spaces.
quick question.
I'll be right
Sorry.
Mhm.
Did the dwarves, when they made their attacks, get the +2 from me?
Is it everybody in the battlefield?
It's everyone within 20 feet of me.
Oh, they did.
Every ally, sorry.
I mean,
Every
this guy-
ally within 20 feet.
Is it
He
at the
died.
time that it's activated, or it's just a constant
It
thing? That's going
it
on
doesn't
for 3 turns?
specify.
Yeah, it's
That's
for 3
the thing.
turns, so it's probably within that time. It doesn't matter. This wolf died. So,
Okay.
yeah, they got the damage boost anyway, so it's all good.
Okay.
Is it still up? Are we in the
Yeah, it's
third
still
I
up.
turn?
think
Last turn.
this is the last turn.
Yeah, last turn.
Sweet. I will attack this wolf.
With advantage.
Yeah. 18 to hit.
18 will hit.
First one. Oh my, why am I 8 damage?
Lost the 2.
Second. Oh, 10. Thank you. 10 points.
10 points. I think this is the one of the few that are untouched.
24 to hit.
24 hits.
And then that will be... that's that's gonna be... Man, I haven't rolled above a 5 on this stupid D8. 11 damage. And then I will do one more with my dagger, with my bonus action. And that will be a 14.
14 will hit.
Nice.
Us.
That, oh, so close. That'll be 9 points.
That's just enough of what you needed. Kyrian just going in and flash killing everything from full HP.
Theodric, where was this when we were in Wilderland Adventures? Seriously.
I didn't have the I didn't have my
Diagonal.
gauntlet of hammer.
Into attacks.
Well, I'm talking about just in general. Like, this party's just tearing these guys apart.
Yeah.
Oh, they hit us pretty hard too. Don't you worry.
Valineth's been pretty safe.
I am at less than half my HP in 2 hits from them.
Don't worry,
so-
Valineth's got you. That's his purpose.
All right, do you want to do anything
Um,
with your remaining movement?
Yeah, do I? I'll go there. I think I just had 5 left.
Theodric, it is your turn.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna attack the wolf in front of me. It's just a flat. No way. That's a no. That's a nat 20.
Crit. Crit.
Some damage.
Which
This is
is
the other wolf that hasn't been damaged.
it is once again a 16.
16.
Yep.
Right.
Is that wolf still going or?
Still going.
Okay.
Do it
and
again.
Attack
Natural 20.
is a 22.
That'll hit.
Not a nat 20, unfortunately. That's 10 damage.
Still standing. Barely, but he's still standing. As you just begin tearing into this clump of wolves. Definitely fighting in close quarters seems to be the good tactic for this party. Which brings us to Caleb here, who's going to here. He is going to use his bonus action to activate his many foes. Which essentially what that does is, as long as he is outnumbered at least by 2 to 1, as far as like, as long as there's 2 or more creatures, add your proficiency bonus to your armor class whenever it happens. So I guess it doesn't really matter at this point. So essentially, I have a 21 AC right now. But I'm going to make attacks. So I'm going to go at this. Are you okay if I kill Steel? I might kill Steel.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Freaking Caleb here. Look at
I'm
him.
gonna go in here and attack. They're both a little bit wounded. Oh, no, actually, a little bit wounded. This guy is. It's gonna be a nat 17, which will hit. Probably should roll on my character sheet. Damage. For 3 points of damage, it does not kill it. Second attack.
Wow.
14 just hits, or it doesn't matter because he had 1 hit random hit point.
Kill Steel.
He only had 4 hit points left. I wasn't sure. All right, there's one more wolf, which brings us to the top of the combat, beating Val.
Yeah, Valineth is like, he's pumped right now. He thinks that the world is good. And he looks into the distance. Can he use like his like a bonus action to perceive the general battlefield and, you know,
I mean, you can
that kind of
move.
thing?
You can move as far as you possibly want here.
Okay.
Try to get vision here.
There's so
Because
many
20
people in the way.
feet, so there's 5, 10, 15, 20. You can see clearly to this point.
Well, he's got night vision.
Yeah, and
so-
then there's the darkness, which or there's dim light, which extends another 10 feet here. So it's like in the darkness. So all you need to do is just get a little bit closer, and then you can see.
Can I move through here? Who's all where? It's,
Yeah.
Are they
it looks
all
like there's
clumped?
there's
They're
one
not
empty
gonna-
space here. There's one empty space here, which Prothean seems to be being thick and bigger. There's one empty space.
okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. With his night dark vision, can he see this wolf?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is he flanked?
Oh yeah, he is. So he gets his advantage on
The-
that. Although I think
Nice.
flanking only counts for melee attacks.
No. All right.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna attack the wolf just in case he says, "I will save you all. Don't worry." And he's gonna shoot an arrow down there. I'm just gonna use a dwarven arrow.
Okay.
That'll be a 22 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
So I get a +1 to this damage. So that'll be 10 piercing damage.
And as you loose this arrow, it chunks itself right in the back of the wolf's head and it falls down.
Guys, Valnith got a kill. He did it
Hey!
A kill that
against
end-
all odds.
Oh, it didn't end combat. There's still combat going. All right.
There's a single
Oh,
wolf.
There's a single wolf. I didn't see him down there at the beginning. That's why I keep
Oh,
forgetting.
the Baradrock wolf.
The
Yes,
Baradrock.
yes.
Anything else for you?
Well, he can't move, and he says, "Oh yes, my companions, I knew you would be safe. I didn't worry a lick." That's all he says.
Now it is Baradrock's turn. Let's see if he can
Uh,
finish this off.
How hurt is the wolf Baradrock
He's
fighting?
pretty hurt. Like, pretty
Okay.
hurt. He's been taking hooves to the face and the back and left and stuff. While you decide that, I need to heal right now.
Okay. I don't think this is gonna hit, unfortunately.
Tyrion's there to save the day.
I got it for the kill steal.
No. And that's okay. I can live with that. I've taken 16 points of damage.
Guys, don't worry. By the way, Valnith, at the end of this battle, has Hands of a Healer, which he can use 4 times within a short rest, which I'm assuming we're getting a short rest after this. And he can do, for each of them, if he spends 10 minutes preparing, he can do 6d8 plus 3 to 4 different people.
Oh,
So-
wow. Also, I do want to thank Lady Irame. Lovely woman.
Sure, you get max healing, don't you?
Yes, and
Isn't
she
that what
gave
that
me a crap ton of Lembas and Athelas before she left.
Don't worry about that.
I'm
Save
back.
that for a rainy
I'm
day.
back.
Remind me
Valnith.
That was an emergency.
what my elf stone does, because I can't find it in the inventory.
I need
Catalog.
to put it there. Basically, on one check per adventure, you get advantage. So
So does a 13 hit this wolf?
13 does not hit the wolf.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, Baradrock missed it at the end, but he will, as he is a trained warhorse with good instincts, he will canter 5 feet to the left, staying within the wolf's line of sight, so that Kyrian and everyone else has a clean shot at this wolf.
I love it.
nice.
Very, very
Beautiful.
smart horse.
Good job, Brodrock.
Okay, Gondorians, dwarves, everything are just gonna do their thing. None of them can actually reach. Actually, they can. This dwarves are gonna go kill Steve.
That's fine.
We're trying. So, 6, 5, 10. Oh, they can't reach. They only have 25 feet of movement. That's right. They're dwarves. No, they can't kill Steel, so they're not gonna do anything. Which brings us down to this wolf, which is going to make an attack at Baradrock, I guess. And that is going to be for a 19 to hit,
That does hit. Damn
No,
it.
Brodrock.
and for 4 points of piercing damage.
Oh, okay.
And we'll do minimum damage.
Brown
Why
horse.
didn't you do more of that?
Sick.
All right, and then that brings us to Kyrian.
Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20, I don't know. Somewhere over there. 25. Flank him. Alright,
Attack.
let's do this thing.
Yeah, then as you approach this wolf, it looks quite injured. Like it's literally just dodging
25
around
to
trying
hit.
Oh,
Finally above a 4. That's gonna be 11 points of damage.
And that's all it's going to take as you
That's right.
sunder this wolf to oblivion. As you look across this battlefield, the campsite, you see that there are a decent, like an entire pack of dead wolves. And as you approach the warg itself, I'm going to actually have, who's the closest? So it's probably going to be Theodric. Theodric, first and foremost, I'm going to have you make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Okie dokie. Just flat.
Just flat.
Oh, that is a 20. Unnatural.
Ooh.
Which is good, because I usually fail my wisdom throws.
As combat ends, you begin the battle song kind of kept you more in place, but as the battle ends, you begin to like tighten your grip on your sword as you look around for more enemies. You see Caliph here, you see dwarves around you, but your mind is clear enough that you understand that battle is over. There are no more wolves and there are no more combat noises, and you're able to take a deep breath through your nose, out through your mouth, and relax as you make your way over to this warg. I'm gonna have you make a nature check for me.
Okie dokie.
Whoa, does he have
17.
to make a wisdom saving throw? Have to get out of rage?
Yes.
Blood rage.
Yeah, it's kind of part of his kind of like character backstory type thing.
Got it. Okay, okay.
I once did take a swing at Feanor.
Oh, nice.
17 on that nature check.
17. As you examine this warg, it definitely has different markings than the wargs that you see down in Rohan. In fact, you can actually tell that this warg itself does not look wild. I mean, all wolves to a degree are wild, but this seems like it was trained by some degree. You can actually see that there are many whiplashes that are on it, as if it's had some kind of bosun that was whipping it into shape. But it is dead, and so that doesn't really matter. This warg itself was not completely wild. And as you collect kind of the bodies and everything, I'm actually going to have Kyrian. I'm going to have you make a survival check, and Valinith, I'm going to have you make a perception check as you gather whatever arrows.
Rit.
Can he also try to grab some arrows that he shot?
Yeah, so
if
that's
he
going to be
can?
the perception check. So essentially, that'll determine the number of arrows that you're able to collect.
That's a natural 20 for a 26.
Yep, all arrows are still intact.
Natural 1 for a 7.
Natural 1 for 7. Yeah, you go to these wolves, and you guys have butchered them up pretty good. There's not a lot left to be able to take as far as usable materials, with the exception of you can go ahead and add to your inventory, Kyrian, 3 rations.
Can I skin the warg like I said I would?
Yeah, you can absolutely sit down and do that. I'm going to have you make a survival check for me.
As this is happening, can Valinith go around and heal? Who needs healing? Valinith can do 4 super powerful healers.
Definitely
heals.
Narvig is really
too,
struggling.
right?
He's actually bleeding and he's sitting down. Like his shoulder has been mauled to heck.
Valinith is going to spend 10 minutes and use 6d8 plus 3 to heal him, if he can.
I only got an 8 on that survival check.
Okay. You are able to grab some kind of like wolf skin off of it. It's not a ton. It seems like, again, bloody, matted, and relatively unusable. This guy was chopped to heck. At least as far as like
30
long, like usable strips of skin to be able to convert to anything. So, yeah, you can go ahead and add wolf pelts to your inventory.
That's 35 points of healing to him.
Well, he's full healing.
Valinith is going to go to this, because this dwarf's was rough too, right?
No, he got bit pretty hard, but actually no, he was down to 5 hit points remaining.
He's going to spend 10 minutes tending to him.
Okay.
What? All right.
Don't worry, I'll get you guys. Don't worry.
I'm hurting. Don't worry.
I know.
Yeah, during this time,
Really
he's just limping around Kyrian,
That's-
looking at
that's-
trying to get whatever
that's-
you can from these wolves.
That's 23 points of damage to him that he's healing.
Okay.
Valinith is go down to Kyrian, spend 10 minutes hanging around him, doing all the heals.
Yeah, he
Thank
eventually
you,
does. He
Valinith.
eventually does make his way up to you, Kyrian. And is this the first healing you've ever gotten from Valinith?
I think so.
All right, well, let's play this.
28 points of damage. Valinith just sits down. Don't talk, you're injured, as he sets him down and starts, where did you get bit? I didn't see what went on, but you look pretty damaged.
Yes. I was double teamed. But don't worry, I took out 3 of them.
Oh, impressive. Of course, I would expect nothing less from you. And Valinith like touches because he's using his hands as the healer, so he's like touching the areas in which like you were getting bit and healed, and he's kind of getting from you the general gist of the battle down there. He didn't see the warg at all, so I'm assuming he's going to be learning all kinds of information.
Yes, there was a warg, definitely. Not a wild beast. Not usually in these parts, at least.
How peculiar. Well, at the very least, it is done for, and to what it looks like, nothing escaped, did it? And Valinith finishes up healing, and I'm assuming you're back to full HP after that. 28 points of healing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Caliphyr is going to go ahead because he has the ability to use his second wind. So he healed 11 hit points just to himself by sitting down and taking a breather. He's looking pretty good. He's going to use some healing dice probably after this to top that off.
Valinith is going to go to Theodric and say, Theodric, how hurt are you?
Look, I'm a bit worse for wear, but I can keep going.
You say that, but you should. Well, you have a healer here at hand, and Valinith's going to sit down and heal him as best he can. So,
and while
at this point too, if there is any remaining hit points that need to be healed, feel free to use your hit dice as you rest for the evening for a short rest.
As Valinith is healing him, Theodric's going to explain the whip marks he found on the warg, and that it was clearly has been trained and domesticated to some level by someone.
That's what Kyrian was saying to a certain extent. He said it didn't seem wild, but this seems to be maybe we're being hunted. Maybe the enemy's onto us. And Valinith heals 29 HP to you. So.
Ooh.
Way to go, Valinith.
He needs a short rest if he wants to do any more powerful healing. So
Short rest
we're
or
about
long
to go.
rest?
a short rest.
Really?
It's really nice. It's a short rest. Yep.
Whoa. Whoa
Yep.
Now, which is basically just
Hands
night
of a
of sleep.
healer.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Valinith
the same
is-
as thankfully that's how much it takes to reset my Van Braces of Hama too. Just a short rest.
That's good. If there's any dungeons or anything that you guys are going through, it's
Don't
it's
worry,
good to
my
have the
cloak
ability.
resets per combat.
Ooh.
Yeah, how many
Nice.
charges
So
does
you
that
get-
one have? 2 or 1?
2.
Two.
Yeah.
Nice. Hang on.
Well, we should. Valna says to Theodric, well, we should get together and explain the plan forward. It seems we need a little bit of rest tonight still. It seems like we're not being hunted. However, we should explain the situation to everyone.
You make your way back to the camp. Unfortunately, none of the other caravan creatures were even hurt at all by this attack. And you can see that many of the people look frightened. However, I'm going to have all 4 of you make insight checks for me. Is there anyone specifically that you're looking at? I guess I would ask. Each of you can pick a different person if you want to.
Everlast.
Yeah, Valnus gonna look at. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Theodric.
I'm going to probably keep an eye on Maribor.
Yeah, Mirabar.
Mirabar.
Valnus gonna kind of take a look at the dwarves because they're probably the only ones that are like still like talking about. He got 25, by the way.
I got a 14.
And I guess Adoric will be who Caliphyr will make an insight check on. 1 second. My character sheet's been slow. Insight. Okay. Cool. So we'll go in order. Kyrian, you got a 16?
Correct.
16. As you look at Barrelass, you can see that she doesn't seem to be... She's a different kind of frightened than she was perhaps before. She's not weepy. She definitely is not sleepy at this point. But as she sees the group of you return with your weapons bloodied, She actually looks to you and kind of holds your gaze for a little bit, Kyrian. And everybody is just kind of like trying to like move these wolf bodies and do what they can. But she actually physically comes up to you, Kyrian, and she said, "How many were there?"
Oh, I would say a dozen or so.
She looks down to the ground and she says, "I've been on the road for a while, but never we've had an attack like that. I'm grateful to all of you for accompanying us. Thank you for saving our lives." And with that, she just turns around and goes back to her sleeping bag, and she just sits up in it. She doesn't fall asleep, but she just kind of watches as everyone kind of puts the camp back together from this attack. She doesn't even wait for you to like give like a further response. She just leaves after what she said.
Great. Noted.
But she definitely does have like a different expression. This is an expression you haven't seen before. You're unsure if it's necessarily gratitude, but it definitely seems like she's become a little bit more open to the group of you, as far as it goes. Who was doing the dwarves? Was that Valinith?
Yeah, you got a 25.
Okay. Yeah, mostly as you are tending to Narvig, you can see that he shares his gratitude. He's like, "Wow, I've never been healed by an elf before." And he leans in close and he says, "My uncle Vogar, he had a pretty serious wound a few years back. I think if there were elves healing him, we wouldn't be in the situation we are." But then he just stays quiet, almost as if he said too much, as he kind of looks back down at his wound, and he sees that you've cleaned up his shoulder like perfectly. And Vig does eventually come to join you guys over here. And he says, "Oh, you're warriors, aren't you?"
Yes, well, we have traveled quite a bit in our time, and I myself, I'm not such a warrior. I'm good with a bow, but it seems like my companions took care of business down there as well as you. I'm impressed. I know the prowess of dwarves, but those wolves didn't stand a chance against you. He's schmoozing.
Make
He
a
is
performance
schmoozing.
check for me.
Performance?
And this could be made
He's
with
that
advantage.
Sweet. Because he's bad at that. Okay. All right. 14.
14. He gives you kind of like a smile as he says, "Well, we've been on the road for a long time." And he looks at you kind of like almost for the first time, like really like taking you in, like examining you. And he says, "We meet many on the road that have, well, at least they look the part of a warrior. Not many of them actually know how to fight against evil, especially when life is on the line." And he says thank you. As he turns around, you hear like a as like you see Vogar. He looks to be almost as if he's still like mentally still in battle. And Vig, he puts his hands like on his shoulders, almost kind of has to reach up because this is a big dwarf. And he's like, "Oi, Vogar, it's okay. Listen to my voice. It's okay." And Vogar, he just like is looking around, and Vig is just, he says, "Give me your mattock. Give me your mattock," as he reaches up and he like kind of tries slowly to pull it away. After a few tugs, Vogar does let go and he says, "Aye, let's get some ale in ya." As he gives you one last look, he leads Vogar back over to the fire, opens up one of the kegs that are there, and he fills a cup of ale and gives it to Vogar.
Also, just heads up, guys, I do gotta get going here.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We're just about to wrap up, but feel free to head out.
Okay. Have a good night,
Theodric.
y'all.
Good night. Thanks,
See ya.
bro. Appreciate it. Theodric, who are you checking out? Mirabar?
Marabar.
Perfect. What was your result?
14, sorry.
14. You walk over to Mirabar, and you can tell that like he is shaken. He is rattled. And he sees you approach, and he's like, "How many of them did we lose?"
We lost one pony to the original assault. That's what tipped us off.
And he blinks and he kind of like itches his forehead and he says, "Aye. All right, that's not too bad."
Yes, especially because it was what tipped us off to the attack. When we were recounting the ponies, we realized one was missing, and went off to find it, and that's when we came across the wolves. We figured they must have been watching us for a while.
His brow furrows, and he looks over to the still passed out, sleeping Owen, and he's like, "That boy. He goes drinking himself to sleep. He should have been watching to see if something happened. We maybe have been tipped off before we even lost a pony." And he just like thinks to himself, and he takes out an abacus and starts to make what looks to be calculations. And he says, "But I think we should be okay. Thank you."
It is also possible that if he'd been awake and alone looking after the ponies, the wolves would have taken him instead.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Can I have that at advantage, pretty please?
Sure, why not? You basically just saved everyone's lives, and so they're pretty grateful to you.
It's a 12.
12. He looks to you and he thinks for a moment. He puts his abacus away and he's like, "That's true. A pony can be bought. Human life cannot." And he kind of gives you a nod and he says, "Happy you are here." And he makes his way over to the caravan as he begins to check to see if any of his wares have been damaged or taken. He seems quite concerned with that, but he does that. At this point, her linen has sat down by the fire. He has his sword kind of on back down. He's resheathed it, and he's kind of like in his drunk stupor, and he says, "That's the last time I go drinking before night. At least not until we reach Bree," as he basically is just kind of like talking to himself. And finally, we have, for a 16, making his way over to, what's his bucket?
Adoric.
Calefir, he says, "Are any of you injured? How are you holding up? Sorry, many of us were over investigating a missing pony, and then that's when they attacked." And he looks to see that like nobody seems really damaged. And Calefir, he gives a smile and he says, "You know how to fight for yourselves, don't you?" And Adoric says, "Fortunately, it didn't come to that," as he has his spear still in his hand as he's kind of looking over some of the bodies of the dead wolves. And he says, "Hey, I could use some help with this," as he begins opening up one of the wolves to extract whatever he can from it. Calefir looks deep into his eyes with that insight check, and definitely he can glean that a bit of the suspicion has left. It's more relief seems to have fallen over the party and the company. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close our stream for today.
Oh, so fun.
Valadin, Dane, tell us your thoughts.
Oh man, for the first time in Eriador Adventures, like literally the first time in Eriador Adventures, Valineth actually did something on the battlefield, so that's good. He actually could hit, except for with his broadsword. No, it was fun. I like the fact that we're back to battle, especially seeing Theodric personally. Seeing Theodric with his rage and with his double hit, his 2 attacks. Oh my gosh, what a benefit that
I'm not
is.
going to lie. It's
Same
pretty fun having 2 attacks now.
Oh, yeah.
And same with Calefir, honestly, and Kyrian. All of them, like, just seeing this party, it's impressive. I think it's going to take quite a bit to bring us down. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's, again, the thing that's wonderful about Adventures in Middle-earth is the journey is the main chunk part, but going back to battle every now and again is always good. I definitely had to recenter my focus from Everlast, like the combat in Everlast, to the combat in Dungeons and Dragons, but overall, I really enjoyed the session. Like, that was a lot of wolves, and I think we did a pretty good job, so.
Yeah, you guys actually, I'm pretty surprised on what you were able to do. I actually tried to be strategic with these wolves, as far as that goes. And then I clumped them, and then you just guys came over and a flash killed. And I was like, well, all right, that's cool. That's fine. But
So,
no,
but
yeah,
yeah,
it was-
that's all my that's my thoughts. It was a good session.
Australian, your thoughts?
I'm stoked to be back in combat. Don't get me wrong, like I love our adventuring phases and all our socializing and plotting and everything. But it's the first time we've seen combat in a while, and like you guys said, those 2 attacks definitely changed things up a bit. And finally got to use the van braces of Hammer. I think those were rad. I can't wait to use them again. It feels good to have kind of a more support item in my back pocket, because like it is kind of like my role. Sometimes it does feel like a barbarian's kind of a more selfish class of just like more damage negation for me, more attacks for me. Like it feels kind of a little bit like a self-centered class at times. But I like being able to give everyone a +2 to their attacks. And
It's really nice.
It makes a big difference, especially when everybody's hitting and like landing like attacks. It genuinely like that was a big damage boost, and like some of those like attacks were like the difference between like actually like slaying something and not. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. Very like I got like 3 nat 20s this session.
Maximum damage. Gosh,
Just
you hit so
wait
hard.
for me to like just ruin every roll next session though to make up for it. Like I see a lot of nat 2s and 1s coming up in my future.
Well, the nice thing about that is, especially when it's like not during combat, I almost think like kind of like I mean, I know like Valinith took advantage of like his natural one with like the sword. It's like, oh, this is very Valinith. Something like that happened, but it's like, like the game and the way that it progresses, like those low rolls also kind of determine like how like the outcomes of things, and it's not always negative. Sometimes it just turns out to be just very different from like the way that the like campaign is like written, and so it's good. I mean, like it's better to have higher rolls in combat, I feel, because there's no upside to having a bad roll in combat.
Yeah.
So,
but no,
I'll give you some King's Cup if you're concerned. Then you can, if you get natural ones, you're good. You're solid.
I should be right. I've always got my elf friend in my pocket where I can re-roll that and have a critical success.
That's true.
Yeah, Theodric's getting a bit sick of wargs. Like he's starting to hate them with a passion. I think he already kind of does, but yeah. Starting to think I should just get a flat like +2 to any attack on a warg from now on. Just warg expertise.
Death to the wolves. Yeah,
one day soon I will ride Barada into battle, but it is not this day.
It is. And I have your token here where you have both of you together.
We've used it once, I think, and that was in the battle against Voltaire.
Oh, that's right.
Just when
I
was being
movement to just get around.
And I was being a huge nuisance, just riding out of their range on Brodrock and just pelting them with the arrows.
Yep, that's true.
I was just kind of hit and run tactics being an annoyance.
Yeah, no, this was definitely interesting, especially like with the way that the combat started, where like you kind of as a party split between like 3 different areas technically, and just kind of like figuring out like what's going on. Like I was curious to see like if like all of you were gonna be here, and it was literally just gonna be like the dwarves and like Frothian like fighting like all the wolves that appeared here. But as soon as I started seeing you guys like doing like some flash killing and stuff over here, I'm like, I need to send everything this way because you guys are doing. I get some attacks off on you guys. Like, yeah, I don't know. I could have been evil and just like started attacking like the unarmed people here, I guess. But I was like,
There's
I need
fire.
to get some damage off on you guys to at least get you to expend some of your resources. That's what I was thinking in my mind. Oh, it's so mean to me, but it is what it is. But yeah, no, it was good. It was fun being able to see also you guys kind of like working together as far as like the strategy goes for kind of like covering the bases, because you didn't really truly know like if more wolves were gonna come or anything like that, and so like your positioning was quite important as well. And so it was fun being able to see that aspect of it. And just like you guys, like I miss combat too. Sometimes it's a lot. I'm trying to expedite the expedite the like NPC stuff, because I really want the focus to be like on you guys. But yeah, it was good. It was fun. It was fun to see you guys use your abilities and whatnot. I was looking through like Caliphyr as well here, and I was like, man, so much of his stuff uses like in action, but because of how well both you, Theodric, and Kyrian were taking care of the like wolves, I was like, okay, they don't need all these buffs, because like he has this thing called Bright Blade, which essentially for 1 minute he has to use an action to activate it, but essentially for 1 minute he can use his charisma modifier to attack rolls made with that weapon. And so basically he gets to hit, so he has a +5 to hit with his broadsword, but he gets an additional +3 to hit. So a +8 with his broadsword if he's using that, but that takes an action to activate. He wasn't necessarily so much in the fray as far as for like his protection, because he has this protection where he can use a reaction to take damage, or to give the target AC equal to like his AC, I think. So yeah, there's lots of stuff that he can do essentially, but he definitely used more of like his attacks and offensive, because you guys were just being so offensive and taking things down. It was pretty fun. It feels good when you're feeling strong and whatnot. So
I love the bravery of Theodric. He just charged that warg like, come on. Come on.
Look, if you take off the head, the body will follow.
That's true.
I feel like
That
this
is-
would have been far more dangerous if the warg had stuck around longer to lead them properly.
it absolutely would have. And the fact that like Kyrian came in and kind of like splinched them instead of fighting the other wolves down here, which I honestly was partially expecting him to. The fact that he came up to the warg and kind of pinched him, I'm like, crap, now I have to spend an action to like disengage to get out of here, because he was already struggling at that point with a few, like he probably had a little less than half his HP remaining, but I was like, he's gonna get flash killed. Yeah,
You
he's
didn't
gonna
get the chance to make him disengage.
And so I'm just like sitting here, I'm like, okay, I gotta get some attacks off. And so that's what ended up happening. I know Kyrian took a decent amount of damage. I know you took some damage. Caliphyr took some damage, but
Look, I'm stoked with my last. I think it was like my last level up. I got a nice chunk of HP with that. And I'm glad.
What are you sitting at right now?
I'm sitting at a healthy 45 HP.
Oh my god.
Which isn't Feanor levels of HP, but with my high AC, it's nice.
You're
and my
good.
rage.
That's crazy.
What's Caliphyr? He's 31, right?
Caliphyr 39, so he's doing pretty good. But
Wait, is
Caliphyr
Valinus still the lowest HP?
I think so, probably.
33, and he's got pretty good HP.
You are also the healer, though. You're the
Yeah,
white
true.
mage.
That's true. But the fact that I broke out of the 20s after being so low HP for so long makes me happy.
Right?
I think he got max health on the last level up, so that was solid for him.
Yeah, it does help a little bit to get you out of kind of the doldrums, because I think like anything above 30, like you can take a couple of hits and not panic, or like in those early levels, like taking one hit is scary, especially like your starting HP was like what, like 8 or 9 or something.
I think it was 9, yeah.
So
It was low.
One hit is making you go unconscious from a wolf, and so.
Well, if you remember in the battle of the 5 army, like, what was that little simulation battle that we did? Valinith, I think he took one hit from someone and went unconscious. He was just sitting back and sniping, and then some guy came up and bonked him on the head, and he was.
He was like, "Oh, I see the stars." Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff. No, it was a good session. I'm happy about this. But our next session, so kind of looking ahead at what we've got, it should be the 15th for you guys in the West, and for Australian and I, it's going to be the 16th. So that is of April. So that is our next session of Adventures in Middle Earth. So make sure everybody who's watching don't miss that. Dane, do you have any announcements to share?
Yeah, so streams for the rest of the week. We got one more stream on Thursday. Kyle will be continuing his playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the remake.
Oh, it's so good. I'm loving it. Just
yeah,
like every single stream, I'm like, man, this music is amazing, but just like the exploration, like the quests, the characters, like, oh, how did this game not win Game of the Year?
Exactly.
How did
I've been really
win Game of the Year? What the frick?
Yeah. No, I mean, I've been really enjoying it too, just watching it along vicariously, which has been awesome. But that's the last stream of the week. I don't believe Coalforge Great Axe is doing Sunday, so I think Kyle, you're up again on Sunday. So thank you. I appreciate it. But as far as like other announcements go, there's a couple ways to be able to support the channel. We have our amazing sponsor, Dai Snacky. They're a Japanese sweets and luxury treats company based in Tokyo, Japan. They are awesome. They have free international shipping. And aside from that as well, they are able to get you some really, really good snacks. It's worth the price, especially because it's not your just average Pocky or Kit Kats. Though they are included, that's not all it is. It's actually Japanese stuff that Japanese people eat. And they really, really do a good job with like the seasonal snacks, because Japan's very big on the seasonal stuff. So whenever you guys order, it's going to be something different every single time, which is really cool. So if you do decide to order from them, make sure to mention that you came from Fantasy Forge, or Forge sent you, or something like that. There's like a little box at the end of checkout that you can like make a note. Make sure to note that there, as well as your Twitch username, because when we hit a referral limit, we actually give away a box for free. Actually, Australian is one of the recipients of one of the free boxes. So that's freaking sweet. So hopefully we can give more away in the future. We've given 2 away, but we can only do that based off of your guys' referrals. So continue to do it. Hopefully they continue to come in. And yeah, that really helps support the channel. If you want to support the art of Everlast in particular, Everlast, again, it's kind of our IP here at Fantasy Forge Studios. Again, created by Kyle, and it is it's awesome. Like to get this world built as it is with our amazing artist Karo-chan, who is a Japanese artist who we use for all of our art for the game. It doesn't come free, so we have to pay for it. So by getting Coffee of the Realm and Fragrances of the Realm, which is our 2 amazing coffee that's based off of Everlast, it's our Roastify, our partnership with Roastify, as well as Fragrances of the Realm, which is our Everlast scented candles. All the proceeds from that go towards the art of Everlast. So if you love the art of Everlast that you've been seeing, buy some coffee and candles, and that will help continue to fund that. And what we've been able to do with the art, because of your guys' generosity, is create the Everlast trading card game, which is currently live on Kickstarter, and it is 100% funded. However, we are not done yet. We have a bunch of stretch goals. So basically, anyone who helps back the Kickstarter and who helps fund the Kickstarter, if we reach these stretch goals, you get extra stuff added on top of it. And not only that, you get all product in the Kickstarter 30% off. So instead of paying $115 for a booster box, you're paying $80 for a booster box. Instead of paying $20 or $34.99 for a theme deck, you're paying $25 for a theme deck. So especially if you're wanting to get the Everlast trading card game upon release, not only will you be getting it in June, which the set will be coming out in August itself, you're getting it early, also first edition, which is amazing, but you will also get a bunch of free stuff on top of it, as well as everything at a 30% discount. So it's like, especially if you want to get the game at all, it's the best way to do it, because otherwise you're going to be paying MSRP. And especially for our international audiences, those who are outside of America, it will not be available in stores. You're only going to be able to get it online, at least to start. Our goal eventually is to get it into international brick and mortars, but it'll be online, and so you'll have to pay full price for that online. So especially if you're really, really wanting to consider getting it, even if just one of the theme decks, feel free to do so. So I'm going to post a link to the Kickstarter. Go check it out. At the very least, it's worth looking through. It gives you the whole story of Everlast and our process in the creation of the game. And then you can also look through all the tiers as well. It also does accept just donations in general. So if you don't want any product, but you still want to be able to support, actually, it's not about how much money is donated. It's more about how many people are backing it. So we actually have a decent amount of backers on Kickstarter. Not backers, we have a decent amount of people who've saved the project, but they're a little bit gun shy. So if you do want to donate or help back, that increases the number of people who are actually funding the project, and it gives people more confidence to be able to fund it too. So even if you can only give $1, it goes a long way to helping us actually get those people who have saved the project and who are just like biding their time to actually bite that bullet and go and actually purchase some stuff, which is cool. And of course, you're getting it for 30% off, so I think it's wonderful. But go check out the Kickstarter; it's wonderful. And I spelled that wrong. Kickstarter.
Also, since we have officially funded and reached the 100% goal, everybody who has backed one of our tiers, starting from the Explorer tier onward, everybody is going to get special promos. So we have the Fate Weaver promo, and we have Malvish, Hubris the Wraith the Malvish. They're strong legendary EX creatures that are in the game, and this is actually going to be your only opportunity to be able to get these cards. These are exclusive to the Kickstarter, so if you want them, this is your way of doing it. And because we hit 100%, every single one of those tiers get this again, one of each of them. And so you can only have one in your deck, but whether you use it for your own decks or for your own collection, that's great. But yeah, this is one of the only ways to be able to get that. And so we have another promos. We have a bunch of Eklos Chaos promos that are up there. If we hit stretch goals, everyone who's backed one of those tiers get a extra booster pack of each. And then the more we go, the more free booster packs you get, which MSRP for about like $4.79 per pack USD. And so it's basically just like free money that you're getting, like even further discounts off the 30% discount that you're already getting. And so again, if you're feeling gun shy, we are already funded, so you're getting the product once it actually does go out, and so it's guaranteed at this point. And so I guess it's technically not guaranteed. Last minute, everyone could withdraw their pledges and we fail, but I don't think that'll happen. I think we've got a community that's pretty excited about it. But without kind of beating that dead horse, that's kind of all that I have on the Kickstarter. Just go check it out. If you want to learn how to play the game, our YouTube page is the best way to do that. We have a how to play tutorial. Our website has print and play stuff, so if you want to see the EX battle decks before you actually get them, you can print them off on your own. You can play them if you have somebody to play with. We have play mats and everything like on our website too. Additionally, on top of that, we have kind of like a quick rules at a glance. It's a little bit in depth. I want to try to create like a more of an at a glance one, but rules at a glance, like printout that you have there. Additionally, we have our set list too. So if you're just being like I'm not quite sure, you can literally go, like we have like a Google Docs folder where you can just like take a look at the set lists of like the entire game.
See every card that comes in.
See every single card that comes in the expansion, which is really
one
cool.
thing that's really cool too. If you're thinking $110 is a lot, get it at the $80. It's way cheaper. But not only that, but every pack comes with a holo. So every card in the set you can have as a holo, which is really cool. So especially if you're that shiny cardboard collector, this is the game for you because you get shiny cardboard in every single pack, which is cool. So you definitely get bang for your buck, I think. So sure.
Yeah, it's been a long process in the making. We've already started our next expansion, at least in-house, getting that together and getting that ready. And so, there will be future Kickstarters in the future, especially because we've already had a decent amount of interest in the game as well, for basically an expansion of the world of the Everlast TCG and the world of Everlast just in general before the official Tabletop RPG does eventually come out. So I think that's about it. That's all I can think of as far as that goes. But thank you all so much. I will see you all on Friday for some Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. May the road go ever onward and onward. And thank you so much for always constantly supporting us. You guys are amazing here at Fantasy Forge Studios. And I'll see you Friday. Bye, everybody.